That's all right. Show the pre-show.
Well, we're not even ready yet. Oh no, you're gonna see us not ready. We're gonna start in like
For us.
we just need to start in a good 20 minutes of live stream before we.
What was I saying? I was saying something, right?
No, it was useless.
It was gonna be great.
It wasn't that good. I know what you're saying.
I know.
That's how I know it wasn't good because
You didn't even.
I would have known.
You didn't even let me get into
the
the good stuff.
Give me the good stuff. I searched for blue collar T-shirts, but I just got blue collared T-shirts.
Yeah.
That'll happen.
That's how Google works. You know. That's the one word nobody
Oh, maybe
uses.
Pinterest will show.
Nobody uses that enough, eh? Numbskull.
Numbskull.
When did that come out?
I'm shitting in my Calvins.
That guy's got a blunt forehead. You know he's a numbskull.
His skull is real
People
numb.
don't say knuckle sandwich enough either.
Oh man, I remember that one.
I was
Did I
telling
ever,
someone
did I
the
ever
other
tell you
day.
about knuckle sandwich? What I thought that was when I was a kid?
Maybe it's not so much.
I thought it was a hedgehog sandwich because it was son of
Oh my
knuckles.
You were an idiot.
Okay, well yeah. Why don't we test our? Does Dave have headphones? Dave doesn't need headphones. What do you need headphones
Yeah,
for?
fuck
I'm
off.
probably worse with headphones, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think last time maybe I was self-conscious and weird.
Okay.
Because you like hear your voice the whole time, is that right?
Yeah.
Sort of.
You can.
But you hear it at the exact same time that you're saying it.
Yeah, it's not
It
like.
just still sounds weird.
Sure, you don't have to have it.
You know what really grinds my gears?
There's no way.
Headphones at podcasts.
You know what really grinds
You
my.
probably run into this problem a lot.
Only once. Surprised. I know it surprises you. I'm
You know
sure.
what just really chaps my thighs, my inner thighs,
You know what really butters my ears?
ears. Okay, yeah. Well, it's not as big of a deal because like you're on a separate channel, so I can adjust you quite a bit afterwards.
Nice. Are you gonna adjust me afterwards?
I'll adjust you.
That's a masturbation tip.
Okay. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2.
Hey, testing, room release for film.
Testing. Touch my penis.
Good.
Also, where's the microphone for the thing?
There's none.
Can they just see us?
No one can hear us.
No.
Just pull it up. One second.
Does this thing stop me from breathing on it?
Well, just stop you from breathing on it. You can
Oh,
still breathe.
Yeah, you can still do
Are you
it.
Bill Nye over here?
I mean, if you're going,
Well, like last time my nose was like breathing right on it.
I try to be like at a both, like a keep on.
Did you hear it?
Honestly, the audio is already pretty good.
Okay.
So somehow I nailed it right away, and they're not even the same level. It's like a different level. Oh,
Oh, camera.
Oh, this flavored water. Whoa.
Do you guys know 50 Cent? I think he owns that flavored water company, that Vita Water.
That's not too
This
surprising.
is a much more.
That's his.
You guys can all deal with your crappy chairs. Sitting with this comfy chair.
Yeah, I've got my phone unmuted on full blast,
Yeah.
and I've got a bag of chips ready.
If you're going to disappear for 15 minutes to take a piss
No, I'm not
during the
gonna.
podcast, just pause at this. I guess from now on, since it's
Yeah, it's not as much leeway. I can't expect Dave to take care of it. So Dave, you got the ad read.
To take care of what?
never you mind.
Yeah, you don't you worry about it.
Don't you worry your pretty little face.
I'm almost ready. So
I'm pretty sure.
okay, cool.
I'm ready.
Dave, you might be too respectful for this show.
I know. I'm way too kind
Yes.
for your own good.
Well, I know I like Latin, whatever.
Well,
I know the
Andy
last
literally
name.
told me once. He's like, "I think you're the nicest one of amongst us."
Oh,
I'm pretty sure you would say it that eloquently, but
But,
I speak with eloquence too.
I mean, I remember last week, Corey, like not taking offense to some joke that I made, but definitely like, oh, that's bad, or whatever. So
No,
It's not-
I get the sense of humor too. I like my sense of humor might be a little lighthearted. I don't know.
yeah.
You guys have both been around me enough.
Been around you a little bit.
It's not like you have to be. It's just whatever. Just be
No,
your
it's
normal
be me.
self. It's just a regular conversation between us.
That's what I was
It
thinking
just
about
happens
this
to
time.
be a microphone.
Ooh, this is a good one.
Yeah, happens to be literally dozens of people watching. Dozens.
half of dozens.
There's dozens of us.
Okay, this one will be.
You know, it'd be a great ad read is to do it with an accent.
Maybe if it works.
I could definitely give it a shot.
No, I thought you were doing that other one. I thought we already came up with the.
Oh, I do. I'll do that. Can we do that one?
I mean, yeah, I mean, you could do another one if you want.
I'll give it a shot. Let's see how I feel. I guess.
Okay, I'm good. I'm good.
Water.
Yeah, go take a leak.
You want to should I go
Start
too?
the show
Want
there.
to cross streams?
If you need to pee, you should go.
Ghostbusters.
Pee now or forever hold your pee.
Did we do that with your brother? My brother was roughly my age, so we like actually did that. Cross streams.
Probably, I think I did things like that with Corey.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Corey was only a year or two older than me, and my brother was.
Is
5
that-
or 6 years.
is that-
my brother?
Okay. Was that the one that you play games with?
So
he's your brother-in-law. Right?
yeah,
So you guys have known each other forever.
he was my cousin before he was my brother.
Wait, your sister married your cousin?
Yeah, but it was my cousin, not hers.
Oh my god. I'm not even gonna ask right now. I'll ask later.
It's pretty easy. My sister's just adopted.
I thought that was what it was.
That's why she's a visible native.
Yeah.
And the rest of my family is white as hell.
That's why she has that year-round tan.
Yeah, that year-round tan. Not a good thing we don't have any viewers right now.
Can we adjust the camera so it can see all of us? Or
You can probably turn it a little bit. Usually you can't see me though, so now that you can.
This is literally a
Delay.
podcast about me.
Yeah, just to my computer. I mean, I could turn my computer a little bit and I could get more to the end. Actually, that's perfect. I just can't. I can see it. Yeah, I can see it pretty good.
Okay, well maybe I'll go try to pee. I think I've got all my pee out of
Yeah,
me.
well, okay, we don't have to go. You don't have to.
We should try. This is like riding
We have a catheter.
taking a long road trip.
Yeah, I was kind of just going through some of like those early episodes, and there's some funny things in them. Like I would just skip in and be like, oh, this is pretty funny right away.
On our show?
Yeah, like even like episode like 6 and 7, pretty old shit. It was a simpler time back then. It was the best of times. It was the blurst of times. Yeah, what's this movie that happened?
Happy Time Murders.
Easy.
No, sure.
Easy.
I got no pee.
I have a Facebook Messenger open. I might text you a picture or something regarding the news, right?
How soon? Like pretty like right away or just now?
Not right now, but I'll text it to you when like during. It's in regard to this news story. Just to give you some context of.
You guys want to hear one of my accents?
Don't even ask.
Check it out. Hey, how's it going? I'm from America.
Amazing.
Nailed it.
It's like Dave saying, "Hey, I'm from America."
It's like an Andy Kaufman joke. It's like, want to hear me do Richard Nixon? Yeah. Hello, I am Richard Nixon.
I don't have anything from you.
I haven't texted it to you.
Okay,
I'll
let's
text it to you during it.
Let's do a little fake rundown. I'm just comparing it to fucking Meet the Feebles. That's like my only angle.
Sure.
I think it should be compared also to the Muppet movies.
Well,
Sure.
there you go. Bring it up
Easy.
there in the show.
Easy. Done.
Although I haven't watched it.
Okay. You don't have to worry about your ears. Okay, I'll do a test run.
Hey! Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da.
Hey! I can't do it like you. The Real Movie Podcast. Real movies, real men. You're listening to Real Movies with Real Men.
Soft spoken.
We almost should have him do it.
They used to
Just
do that
'cause
shit
that's
in
funny.
the 90s all the time. Very romantic, like sexy.
Yeah. Like a radio.
There's that like on Parks and Rec, they have like that guy, and he's like the most boring radio show host ever.
Oh,
And
really?
he's like, yeah, he kind of talks like that. Like he just plays really obscure jazz music, like it's a big joke, like the shit that he's listing off.
You used to have this one guy that used to do it. I can't remember his name. He was the guy in Half Baked that slept on the couch.
Okay.
Do you know the guy?
I think so.
His voice is so unique. I mean, he was like a radio show host on some movie. It was hilarious. Like in Team America, where their computer intelligence is like sounds like a stoner or something. Like I'm intelligent.
Oh, yeah. I watched that movie fairly recently. It would not fly
No.
by today's
Yeah.
standards. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Just like the jokes about their accents and the way they talk. And, like,
Dude, totally.
the Arab language just being them saying, like...
The only reason it
Turkish
flew then
jihad.
was because of 9/11, which actually is today.
Yeah.
Happy 9/11! Oh man, I know what my intro is.
There's like the
Muhammad Jihad.
Federal Actors Guild, and it's
Fag.
fag, and it says like fag right on screen. And it's Alec Baldwin, so
Baldwin.
that would not fly anymore.
Alec Baldwin.
Well, congratulations to everyone who got 12 minutes of sneak preview on
Oh
the
my
live stream.
God.
Nobody's on there, hey? Can't really
Nope.
see you.
Nobody's on there. We don't have to worry about it. I only just posted the links, so I'm ready to go. Do you want another run?
No, I just want to get some water, get my shit up here.
Alrighty, I just gotta reply to a few messages.
Go to the washroom. Hey, you're listening to Real Movies for Real Men, the world's first and only movie talk show podcast, baby. No sesame, all street. Unless you're talking about the sesame seeds on the bun of the cheeseburger Melissa McCarthy had for breakfast. I'm Andy, with me as always, no brains and all Muller.
Happy 9/11 Day, everybody!
Everybody listening to this next Wednesday.
Yeah. Special occasion.
With us as well.
That's the greatest joke I think I've ever come up with.
With
I like
us,
you. I like how you worked it into your notes.
I'm laughing at your own joke here. With us as well, no clothes and all calves, braided. That's it. I'm stuck with you.
Oh yes, head to head.
But joining us today, here to keep me from killing myself or Muller, back again, Dave.
I have all of these spoons locked away. That's a wrist-cutting spoon joke.
Who's cutting their wrists with spoons?
Uh,
How sharp are these spoons?
Heroes.
Now, you guys, we need to take a full minute of silence to remember the fallen.
You're talking about
Braden, who's no longer on the show. I was reminiscing earlier. Oh man, I can't believe we're not going to have this guy anymore. This sexy beast. Where will my erections come from? Now I'm going to have to start ordering Viagra. I've been holding off.
But Braden wasn't 400 pounds.
How many How many rude English people do you know?
Like you're
Oh my
talking
God.
British people? Or
Yeah, British.
That's a lot, actually, a lot. So
I
Really?
know
Yeah.
nothing.
None.
I don't
Even
know.
what about lifetime? Like high
I never know
school
personally.
and
I don't
whatever.
think any.
Okay.
I unfortunately, I feel like I've been involved with many,
Wow.
and they all seem to have a certain thing about it. I don't know if we're like being disparaging toward English. people,
Yes, of
but
course.
Of course we are.
That is the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all pompous. That's why they play evil people in movies.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you about somebody who would play a great evil person in a movie. So I was in a restaurant here,
Mhm.
and this fellow walks in, and he doesn't know what to order. So I said, well, the fish and chips are really good here. And so he was looking through the menu or whatever, and then he's like, oh, okay, I guess I'll get the fish and chips. I'm a British person or whatever. So
Yes, you do.
so he asks the waitress about the fish and chips, and he says, are the fish and chips halibut? And she goes, no, it's cod. So the guy turns to me and goes, well, thanks for wasting my time, and then leaves the entire restaurant.
I kind of like this guy.
Like he was clearly English.
Yeah. They did,
Oh.
stupid. Thanks for wasting whatever the
Yeah.
dumb British. I can't do a British.
Thanks for wasting my time.
accent.
Thanks a lot, you bloody dick.
That's a really
Also a bloody dick.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't Dave?
You bloody wank.
I was out of I went to a fish and chip place recently.
Yeah, so I picked it up. Michael Caine was there.
I would tangent. These people that can play evil people. You guys know Bradley Cooper, obviously, right?
Yeah.
I think about this all the time.
Limitless, Unlimited.
Yeah. Do you remember Wedding Crashers? He was like he was the evil like.
I remember
college
not
kid.
seeing it.
Oh.
I remember
I
not
saw
seeing
it back in the day, but I don't remember a lot of it.
He was like
What?
he was like the asshole college guy in it,
Okay.
who going up against Owen Wilson.
He's going up against them to crash as many weddings.
No,
as
he's
he
just
can.
like he's just being a dick. But it was like the one time Bradley Cooper played like an asshole.
I think
he has the face
doesn't
of,
he play
like-
that in every movie.
Oh, it's just because he looks like one.
It's just because all his movies are terrible.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean he's an asshole.
Oh, right. Yes.
But it bothers me if he's like in all these movies trying to be like a good guy and do like nice guy things when he like clearly has the face of an evil person. He does. He like actually does.
I
Yeah.
don't
Ponder
know
that
if
one.
Bradley Cooper's been in any movie I like.
Really? Guardians of the Galaxy.
I mildly enjoyed him.
Never mind.
What else? Limitless was alright.
Okay.
How about the
Oh,
shooter? How
yeah,
about the killing of American Sniper dude?
Oh yeah, I never saw that one.
Okay, let's get on to something
I hate
important.
America.
What's the worst smell you've ever smelled?
Dead rodent.
Dead rodent.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, that was gonna
what's
be
the story behind this? Because you clearly didn't just drive over this thing. Otherwise, you wouldn't have smelt it.
I work in a warehouse, and
Mm.
many years ago, it's like there was rats getting in, and they would just die because we put out traps and whatever, and then sometimes they just die because there's not a lot of food in the warehouse I work at. And they don't just die out in the open because they're always sticking to the shadows, hiding behind stuff and whatever. So at some point, you just walk past a certain section of the warehouse, and it just
Okay.
smell like decomposing dead rat.
It just
And
smells
it
like
is-
a dead rat in there.
It's the worst smell that you'll never,
That's rough.
ever forget. Actually, funny story. I thought, okay. Remember, there's this area that just smelled like that. So we knew where there's a dead rat somewhere around there. And we found it eventually. Massive dead rat. This thing was fucking.
Award-winning dead rat.
It was under
Award
this.
winning.
It was massive.
Worst rat.
prize dead rat. So we gotta clean it up, and we had like one of those like grabber things. You squeeze the handle and it picks it up, whatever. Because no one wants to put their hands on a dead rat, even if you're wearing
For
gloves.
some reason, my mind went to like
Go, bro.
cleaning it rather than like
just
getting rid of it.
You
Yeah.
gotta clean this
Yeah.
dead rat.
Dave, do you think you can keep doing that accent for the rest of the show?
British one.
Yeah, I'm missing it.
Just
Alright.
here and there, periodically.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
So anyway, we have one person like holding the garbage can close or garbage bag. This was a long time. I don't remember exactly. The only
All
person
the
picking it up.
details of your
We picked it up, and it just looked like a dead rat butt, like nothing else to it.
Nothing
when
too
we
grotesque.
picked it up, like the bottom side of it that we couldn't
Oh,
see,
gross.
just ripped open,
Oh.
and just like
I know what you're gonna say.
bowl full of dead maggots,
Yeah.
or not dead maggots, of live maggots,
Yeah.
just spilled out of it, like just so.
Gross.
Imagine like a full bowl of
Yeah.
rice. It was so much maggots. It was fucking disgusting. So that's probably the most disgusting smell.
I'm trying to think of mine, and I think it goes with that one because that's where my mind went first. It's a similar situation, but I was like walking down the sidewalk on Better here, and there was a raccoon somehow like made it to the other side. It was dead. The waft was insane,
Yeah.
but there was maggots covered in it, like all over the place. And I was like kind of morbidly taking photos of it, like some kind of emo, like it has death and it has meaning or something.
You know, if our female viewership doesn't go up after this, I don't know what will do.
That
Yeah,
smell,
it's-
by the way, that smell, it's that terrible to us because we're not supposed to eat that.
Yeah,
meat.
I don't even think it's like specific to dead rodent. I just think it's a decomposing smell. It's
Yeah.
very
So
specific.
like dogs love that kind of smell
Woof.
Oh.
because they're able to deal with it. Yeah, woof.
So what brings you to ask this question?
Well, forget those smells. Those ones don't matter at all. I'm going to tell you about the worst smell that you've ever smelled. And this is how this smell presents itself is you walk into a bathroom and it smells like the fattest person with the fattest swamp ass ever just sweat all over the outside of a dirty toilet bowl. Like this,
I'm still trying to picture the smell right now.
it's this
I
thick.
can't picture the smell.
It's
David.
this-
I'll call picture it.
It's
Call
this
you.
thick, musty smell. Like it feels like there's a mist of smell in the air because the air is so hot and heavy, and you wish that it just smelled like someone had really bad diarrhea in the bathroom, and then because you walk in and it smells like poop, right? You know what poop smells like, and it's not that bad. That's not what this is. It's this fat swamp ass smell. It's like the guy on the movie Seven that they overfeed to death.
Yeah.
It's like that guy was just sitting in the bathroom and Kevin Spacey overfed him to death for like 10 hours.
Is it like
And-
outhouse smell?
No, it's not an outhouse. No, outhouse smell is infinitely better
It's like-
than this smell.
it's like a-
heavy BO smell.
Yeah.
There's a heavy BO element.
Aroma therapy of BO.
Yes.
I
A
remember,
tablespoon of BO in an aromatherapy
I remember
machine.
a buddy of mine way back in high school. We were in class and there was like a heavy BO smell. I can't remember where it came from. Not important. And he's like, oh, that smell. It's either bad odor or good sandwich.
That's so true.
Ever since he said that, if you ever smell like a BO smell,
It could smell like a
if you-
cheese on a
If
sandwich.
you picture like a sandwich that has like probably a little bit of onions in it or something.
Onions, that's the thing.
You're like, yeah, that might just be a
I used to-
delicious
I used to like cut up onions and throw them in food a lot, and then leave the onion stuff on my counter.
Yeah,
And people would come over, and I would realize all of a sudden I could smell it too, and I was like, "It smells like BO, doesn't it?"
Yeah, I've started to notice that a bunch lately where I'm like, I can't tell if this is poop or food.
yeah.
Oh,
What
God.
I'm smelling
This is
is-
old age coming on. My senses are deadening. Is this food, or I shouldn't eat it stuff?
So the thing about an outhouse smell or somebody having poop is it's this bad natural smell,
Sure.
right? Like there's something natural about it where you can kind of tolerate it in sort of a weird way. And this is a very unnatural human smell that I'm describing.
Yeah, because you're not naturally supposed
It's
to
a-
weigh 400 pounds.
It's a dying person smell.
It's I don't know who makes this type of smell. Like maybe it's a very old person.
Well, it could be a dehydrated person too.
Yeah,
That's just a lot.
let's check your
Maybe it's
urine.
just a delicious sandwich.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe some fat guy was eating a delicious sandwich.
Yeah, I have. It's not the strongest smell I've ever smelled in the bathroom, which was when someone left a dookie in the urinal, which is a very strong
That's
smell.
hilarious.
But the thing is,
Poop isn't covered by water. It's horrid.
Like I didn't, when you asked me that question, what's the worst smell I've ever smelled? I didn't immediately gravitate towards shit, even though it's obviously
Because it's not the word.
But also because it's such a common smell. It's a smell you're running into a lot, probably.
It's a pretty revolting.
Presumably at least once a day for most people.
Yeah.
And then
Or
if
like
you use
8
a
times a day for
public
me.
washing, but
Yeah.
it's a smell you run into so much, even though it's so repulsive. You know, like that decomposing dead rat smell. That's not something.
There is another
common
smell,
in my
like-
life.
I was at your house the other day, and you were like gagging, trying to like put stuff in the dishwasher because the dishes were sitting
Oh
there.
yeah, that.
And that's
empty
a smell that I
dishwasher.
have at my house once in a while because I'll leave my stuff in the sink. I'll like cook something in a big pot,
Yeah.
and I'll fill it with water, and I'll like go away, come back to it in a day or two,
I have encountered this exact.
and it
scenario
smells
before.
like barf, right? It actually smells like that.
So,
It's because the bacteria that like form.
did you guys have a dishwasher when you were growing up?
No,
Like-
for earlier. I mean,
Because that were you a teenager even?
Yes.
I was a dishwasher.
So
growing up.
did your parents have a rule about washing your dishes rinsing the dishes before you put them in the dishwasher? Like,
think
were you ever encouraged to do
No,
that?
not that I remember.
Okay, so you guys,
I weren't raised well.
are completely unaware of the vast array of baby boomer excuses for why you should rinse your dishes before you put them
Oh
in.
yeah.
Because you'll hear arguments on both sides. You'll have some dad and he'll be like, oh, I talked to the dishwashing machine salesman and they said not to wash the dishes before you put them in because it makes it harder to clean. And then you have people who, of course, say the opposite and whatnot. And every single one of these excuses was a lie. The only reason that you would wash a dish before you put it in is if your dishwasher doesn't get used very often, because then it, as a guy who really uses the dishwasher once a week, I've discovered smells so fucking bad.
Yeah.
Because you got
That's a
food
good
rotting
point.
in there all week. But if you're a family, you're using it every day or sometimes twice a day. You do not need to rinse what's in there.
I think the only reason you would is if you have like a really old shitty one like me.
Yeah, maybe that's why
Then
these baby
I have
boomers know
to
that.
clean mine. Yeah. Well, they were around back when there wasn't very good dishwashers. I would say they were like the earliest. They were like the first editions. Of PS4s.
Yeah, they had these old dishwashers where like it was just a sink. you just put them in the dishwasher and you just kind of shoot the water at them from the outside and then you can pull them
I
out.
don't even know what you're saying to me right now.
Look at this fascinating dishwasher history. of this.
No, but it was a real thing. Every family would have some different excuse for
Mhm.
why you should rinse the dishes before you put them in, and none of them were consistent with each other or cohesive in any way. Okay, well, let's get to some news.
So I read an interesting news story literally this morning. And this is an example of a story where I think I despise everyone involved in it, both sides of this online dispute that happened. So there's this lady on Twitch. She goes under the handle the Zombie Unicorn. And
I love the word handle for like online
Yeah,
names.
no,
It's so silly.
Your handle.
My online handle. And she grabbed me right by
No,
the
it's funny.
handle.
That was the first thing that came to my
What was
mind.
it? Zombie unicorn?
The Zombie Unicorn. So she's some lady on Twitch, and she's coming under fire for using her sexuality to gain viewership.
Oh,
Wait, what?
So
Is this
it's
a
like
new
she
thing?
This is a new thing?
this is called old, not
Yeah,
news.
This is strictly.
Oles.
Old.
Um,
That's a hard word to say.
Yeah, it's hard to say. That's why I guess they don't have
So it's,
Yeah.
owls.
it's a common thing that like people will insult some ladies on Twitch and call them titty streamers, something like that. It's basically just they're
It's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Are we about to fight right now? Are we going to fight?
For anyone who doesn't know what Twitch is, it's somebody who streams themselves live video playing a video game and people watch, and you can interact, you can chat.
Some people don't even include videos of themselves or commentary, so it's just
game.
a random
Yeah.
video of game and people watch it.
So most people will have the video game they're playing on screen and then like a little tiny screen of them playing, like a close up of their
The
face.
really good ones will have a green screen. It's just a picture of them.
So every now and then you'll
Really
get some
good.
lady on there who's wearing a low cut shirt and has lots of cleavage, and people will call them titty streamers because it's like they're clearly just getting their viewership for having.
You should go around to some of the popular ones like JonTron and be like, you chin titty streamer.
Well, what's the-
some of the fat dudes.
what's-
that dude?
What is the titty streaming? What is the titty streaming for men? We don't have the same. We
There
can't
is
have cleavage.
There is
so-
one. I'll get to that.
Okay.
So
It's called being good at what you're doing.
thing about
Yes, being funny and talented video game player.
this is actually more or less where I'm going.
We're getting way ahead of
This
them.
is some foreshadowing.
Sorry.
So her in particular, because that's a common thing, like people were in a huge uproar
The zombie
about
unicorn.
her, because she would literally. So on Twitch, you don't have to necessarily stream yourself playing games.
Mm.
You could also be drawing on there, anything creative. You could be like making a costume or something on there.
Yeah,
Doesn't
there's
have to be
musicians
video
and
games.
stuff too, right?
Yeah, you can do also. You can be playing piano on there or whatever. Her particular thing is she would be on Twitch completely topless. I think she had like nipple coverings, pasties, whatever the fuck they're called.
It sounds horrible.
Ice cubes.
And
How terrible.
she would be like body painting pictures, like some character.
I don't know why people would watch
So she's
that.
a makeup artist, and there's a reason that she doesn't have a shirt on because she's like putting makeup on her.
This is
collar.
a
Sure, but
hideous-
she's also
hideous
like
streaming.
a hot chick with a huge rack. Actually,
Yeah.
We'll see.
There's an
I'm gonna.
old adage,
I'll be
sex sells. It definitely works.
I don't know if you'll find her hot, but it's clearly like this isn't objectively
Yeah. Totally.
someone who would be considered attractive with huge cans. I just linked it to you. Don't read the text above it.
Okay.
They're gonna be.
How am I gonna not read the text above it?
Don't
Like,
read it out loud.
oh.
All my friends.
I can probably look at this.
So, yeah, all you need to know is it's a hot chick with huge cans streaming herself painting her chest topless, and a bunch of fucking loser gamers were getting in an uproar about it, like, oh, the only reason people even watch your show is just because you're exploiting your sexuality, and I'm just thinking a couple things. First, I'm thinking, what are these guys? What are you guys doing? Like you're getting all angry because this chick's online wearing no shirt. It's like, great job. You're gonna convince this chick to put her shirt back on.
Yeah.
What is everything we ever do if not to convince a girl to take her shirt off? And these guys are on here. They're like, no, this chick who's just willingly for free
Yeah.
taking her shirt off
Who's
and
getting
giving
angry
it to
about
herself.
this? Who's it?
Just some annoying like Twitch gamers online.
Is it an article you saw? Or something?
Yeah. Well, I think.
This sounds like why people hate white knights a lot.
Yes. I think. I
Isn't
don't
there
think
a hat that
I
goes
don't
with
think they're angry for some like puritanical white knight thing. I think they're angry because they think it's unfair that like they're also Twitch streamers and they have to like. Just
How come nobody wants to see my
dude,
giant?
And they have
tits?
to try and work really hard to actually get viewership.
You know what this sounds like?
Lots of people.
This sounds like SJW territory.
It's-
Social justice warrior.
It's not
Why is
quite
that?
there.
Because it's like they latch on to things that are like movements and like this is like a women's rights thing or like a exploitation thing.
But I'm immediately annoyed by them because.
Yeah?
No, I don't get it.
Yeah?
I don't think it's that. I think they're just jealous because they have their stupid Twitch channel that gets like
Oh.
10 views per video,
Makes sense.
and
And they don't
nobody
have cleavage.
and
to
nobody
show.
cares. And then she just comes on to Twitch, takes her shirt off, and probably gets like 50,000 views per stream. I'm guessing.
Yeah, she's getting a lot of TV
I'm just
skills
annoyed.
from
Is
this
it-
work.
Yeah.
As if it's something like as if being a Twitch streamer is some prestigious title that anybody cares about. Like if you're not a real
Yeah.
Twitch streamer, you just go out and take a shirt. Who cares? This is
They're-
clearly a supply and demand scenario.
Yeah,
Like,
they're rocking what they got and it's
like,
working.
there are people that want to see her topless. She does
Mhm.
not mind being seen topless. Whatever.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's a jelly thing because they're totally.
But there's
They
a
don't have something that easy
But
to
there's-
like bank on.
there's totally a posturing element to this. Like, why don't you go upload your videos to Pornhub?
her.
Yeah.
Oh, her.
It's like, well, no. I'm better
Well,
than that.
let
It's
me
like,
get to the
well,
reason-
Which one are you then?
I had mentioned that it's funny to say that I had mentioned that I despise everyone involved in this. So her response to it, she had like a Twitter response that said,
I had a lot of trouble
I'll
understanding
just read
this,
it
by
off
the
here. She
way.
said, I am in no way, shape, or form this sexist termed booby streamer, nor have I ever exploited my body to attract viewers. Please refrain from making sexist comments like this soon, or you'll be banned from Twitch, blah, blah, blah. And I just
Dang.
thought, and she went on to explain that, well, it's not sexual because there's nothing sexual about body painting.
Listen, you're not directing showgirls here. You're not that talented.
Yeah, but body painting, but it's like, look, you're an attractive lady
Yeah, the
who has-
paint isn't what's
who has
sexual.
her shirt
Your
on.
tits are.
Yeah, it just annoys me. Like, Yeah, fucking right. As if imagine I had the body painting skills. Like I'm just as good a painter
I
as
don't
she
know. I'm
is.
just imagining you with your shirt off with like
Just
paint on your
exactly.
nipples on the street.
Exactly. Imagine if I went on to Twitch, took my shirt off,
Yeah.
my hairy, like out of shape body,
Yeah.
just painting over it.
You might get a lot more
I'm
views though.
sure that's gonna get tons of people watching. Like we're all laughing. The idea of it is
Yeah.
it's laughable. Like me up. Like I just imagine me getting close up to the camera, painting my nipples, whatever the color of the.
Now, what are the
shirt of
odds
character.
some dude's already tried this?
So, like it would be the end of Twitch. That would be
Yeah.
They just shut it down.
They were like,
It's gone too
We
far.
don't know what this is.
We've reached the end.
It was sexy, now it's not.
It's just a clear case of her not at all acknowledging that there's a difference between men and women. Like
Yeah, that level of denial.
Yeah.
Oh no. It's,
So what side is the exploitation on? Is it like her that's being exploited, or is she exploiting the nerd?
both. It's both. But I don't think the
What
word,
does the word exploitation
Exactly.
even mean?
I
at
don't
this
think
point?
the word exploit is even appropriate at that point
That makes
because
sense, yeah.
it's something that they want to see. And no one, unless she's being forced to do this by like a really shitty boyfriend or something.
Yeah,
like
because
that.
it's not like child labor, which
It's
is like
not-
very
A
exploitative.
really shitty boyfriend who insists that she holds the moral high ground on the
But-
situation.
Yeah.
Listen, you take those clothes off, you do a little dance, and then you convince him.
Yeah. But she like
that this is right.
don't fool yourself, sweetheart. The reason people are tuning in is
Yeah,
because you have a huge rap.
don't
Like,
delude yourself.
there's
Like
something-
it just sounds like a satirical account.
Yeah.
If you just imagine this chick's Twitter feed being like, all 200,000 viewers today watched for my body paint skills. Like that's exactly what she's saying. If you just wrote this quote plain truth from her, it would come off as a satirical Twitter
Maybe
account.
I'm paranoid or whatever, but I just it makes me think that it's like just a her own PR campaign to like not make it be so obvious to Twitch, because I think Twitch had a problem with this.
I know
like
they
women
had
twitching.
something about like
Yeah.
women twitching
Because it was becoming
fights.
a real big problem. I don't know if it's. I don't think it's actually
Problem.
changed.
And then
either.
you have women who are doing the same but with their downstairs called twatching.
That's a whole other website.
Yeah, I hate
Twatch.net.
It's just body painting, guys.
I hate everyone involved in this story. These loser gamer guys that are so upset. You're trivializing what Twitch is supposed to be about. Like, shut up.
Poor guys.
Just let her take. Like, you're ruining this for everyone. Just let her take her
enjoy
shit
it.
off
It won't
online.
last.
And then her like fooling herself into thinking, oh, it's just sometimes people who are interested in my art form.
Mm.
No, maybe about 1% of the audience. The rest, not at all.
I mean, I
I
definitely
definitely appreciate those kind of assets.
I like the idea of
Can
Twitch.
you say that in a British accent?
I definitely appreciate your assets.
I mean, it's better.
Marvelous. I know, it
I
sounds
like that.
great and douchey.
That's good. Yeah. I actually like the idea of Twitch becoming not just a video gaming thing, but
Yeah.
just a live stream technology.
Where women are just constantly taking their
Where women
shirts
are
off.
constantly taking their
I'm
So
definitely
it
gonna-
evolves into a pornography.
I'm definitely buying some body paint.
Yeah.
I'm going that route.
But you can use
Well,
this
according to
spray
this
gun.
lady, if you get good enough, you'll have just as high
Just as many
viewership
viewers
as
as her. You just need to be just as talented.
That's it.
I'm seriously considering it, which is stupid.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've thought of doing it for music, like live streaming writing music, because people might be interested in how to write
More
music.
V-necks and low-cut
You know.
tops.
Dave, you could do it with art, and you're
Maybe art cleavage is chest hair. I've heard this argument.
You just hire like a stripper who's just constantly in the background.
Pretty good
dancing.
gimmick.
And then you
Just-
draw.
I'll just call up the local dancing club. Hey, you guys got a practice space for you.
Or what if you just hang posters all over the wall behind you of cleavage?
I can
Yeah,
get all
that could
those
work.
posters from Die Hard that they have in the security card. That's got
Like
one.
paste it up against the wall?
Yeah, just paste that scene of Die Hard and blow it up so that you can't really see it anymore. Yeah, I think that it's a pretty good PR stunt for her to just be really indignant and self-righteous about it. I think that she'll get more attention.
Yeah, just
I don't think that's what's happening, but yeah, sure.
No, I think her only risk is like if she takes a misstep, then her account gets taken down. That's it. So
Right.
she's probably making bank, like serious bank.
So we
Okay, yeah.
had another great PR stunt happen this week with that everyone was talking about for like 24 hours only, which was that whole
The
Nike
Nike ad, yeah.
the Nike ad thing. So everybody should remember, but Colin Kaepernick,
Football player, the one who refused to stand during the national anthem.
Yeah.
At football games.
So
Protest the black disparity or something.
So Nike sponsors him with an instantly memeified slogan, something like if you stand up for what you believe, you have to sacrifice everything, or something like that, right?
Well, the line was stand up for something, even if it means sacrificing everything, something like that.
Yeah. So and then everybody immediately started making fun of it, putting like old people in the photo instead, and just
Well,
like random nonsense.
There have been some dynamite, edgy ones. I've never seen one. It was like a picture of one of the planes about to hit the World Trade Center.
Oh my God. How relevant today. Today is September 11th.
Happy
Not when people are listening to it.
Yeah, not when people
For
are
us.
listening.
That's why I'm saying it.
Just
yeah.
so you know.
Just so you know.
Yeah.
It was easily memeified, and some pretty good ones out there too, actually.
Yeah. So, I mean, everybody's probably seen that to death already. Again, everybody this only happened for 24 hours. I haven't heard
forgotten by the time
I haven't heard a single thing about
This is
it.
the one meme that kind of escapes me. I look at them and I see it, but I don't get it.
Yeah,
It's just because it's just a meaningless phrase. It doesn't mean anything.
That must be because all of them are kind of doing it. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's just platitudes.
Well, also, I don't think
meaningless
he really
platitudes.
sacrificed that much. Like, he's a successful.
Well, so that's kind of what I wanted to bring up because
it didn't seem like
so-
a huge sacrifice.
So the uglier Tom Cruise, Ben Shapiro, was talking about this, and he was going through this. Yeah, what do you mean sacrificing everything? All you did was get millions of dollars of sponsorships. Great sacrifice, idiot.
Yeah.
So he was going on and on about this whole controversy, like he does in his political talk show, and building it up. And then after 10 minutes of building up how not a hero this guy is, he goes, "Don't you guys realize that this is just to sell Nike shoes?"
Yeah.
like
This ad,
This Nike ad?
this shoe ad was just meant to sell shoes.
like in the most woke fashion. It's just like, oh man, now here comes the big bomb drop, you guys. Don't you see you're all being manipulated by this explicit ad?
Well,
You know what's
he's
funny?
not wrong.
It's funny to state because a lot of people don't clue into it. Like they'll take it as like the social meaning, but they won't actually see it.
Yeah, but it's just funny. It's like at the end of the day, it's a literal.
It is,
ad.
yeah.
If it wasn't like some PR
What-
stunt
what an obvious
that they put together, this was a literal like picture. And yeah, not one of Ben Shapiro's most groundbreaking observations. thrown up there.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of interesting to think that people now, they're seeing ads and just seeing it as reality. Like the fact that you have to point
That's
out.
probably always been true, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
No,
maybe people are
ads
more aware.
became manipulative for sure. That's what
I think they've always been.
at the beginning, before psychology came into it, they weren't. They were literally like, this car does
Yeah,
this.
you'd have to
It does
You'd have
this.
to go back to like the 40s or something.
is, yeah.
Like that. You have to go way
in the 50s.
yeah, actually further than that.
Well,
Probably, yeah.
Freud's nephew, something Bernays, something or other, he started getting into it.
Is,
Well, he started getting. That's where women started being like, yeah, have a woman smoking a cigarette because it's like a dick. That's where he started getting that kind of marketing.
well,
Maybe
that's
this
sweet.
Twitch streamer needs to start smoking.
Should
Up that viewership
show them
even more.
all she's strong.
All right, you guys ready for some movies?
Let's talk
A
movies.
movie.
All right, our collective most hated movie ever
Mhm.
of the week. I have to do that for Brady now.
How did he do that
I
bit?
So he did that
Of
bit.
the week.
Thanks.
Wait,
Of the week.
do it again.
With the British accent.
Yeah.
Our most hated movie ever.
Of the week.
Uh,
I want to
is-
do the German accent.
Okay. Our most hated movie ever.
Of the week.
You have to get a sample of that and let you play it every time.
Yeah.
Is the quote happy unquote time murders,
Yeah.
The Happy Time.
also known as the Happy Time Murders,
The happy.
starring Melissa McCarthy. So
Another movie probably a lot of people may not have heard of, even though like I don't watch a lot of it.
there was a lot of ads for it.
Yeah, I don't have TV or anything, so I'm always unaware of like what gets a ton of ads. But I've never seen this.
I saw a trailer for it somewhere. I don't have
It's
to.
the rated R like puppet movie.
Muppets.
Like
yeah.
a Muppets.
It's a rated R Muppets.
Yeah, pretty much.
Really,
Yeah,
really.
it was sold as like a raunchy puppet movie. That's really what it was sold as.
Yeah, that's essentially what it is.
Well, really, what it is.
It's just a bad puppet.
It's just yeah.
It's a piece of
It's
shit.
it's a huge ripoff of the real rated R Muppets. Meet the Feebles.
The original that even less people have.
That even less
Come on,
people
man.
have heard of.
Like,
It's such a confusing mess.
Yeah, it's okay. So the Happy Time Murders is just about a murder mystery, except everyone's puppets,
and it's like a buddy cop.
yeah, it's a buddy cop thing, and a puppet teams up with Melissa McCarthy, who is not a puppet, but just
You know-
plain old fatso.
I would say it's more
Too
like
big to be a puppet.
I would say it actually is trying to be a detective movie.
Sure, yeah, it's
But it fails to do
a buddy detective movie.
I
It
say
wasn't.
buddy cop, but yeah, they're detectives, but that's still considered
Well,
buddy cop.
Yeah, the way they were shooting it, like, and this I was confused about this when it opened, and he's like narrating it,
I mean, the way they
like
didn't
the-
shoot it.
the noir,
Yeah,
noir
it has
style.
like a film noir style.
That's a
a little bit.
detective. That's a detective style storytelling. Except in those movies or those stories, you follow the detective the whole time. He's in every shot.
Yeah.
They didn't do
quickly
that with
turns-
this.
It's almost as if they just had no singular vision.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. It went from that into a buddy cop movie, which was weird.
Okay, let me get the synopsis out of the way so people know what the hell we're talking about. So, Detective Puppet starts to see his friends be murdered one by one. Estranged from the police force for some mysterious reason.
For a reason that's not well explained or makes sense at all.
Yeah, for a reason
Accidentally
that's-
killed a guy.
He accidentally kills a guy that with a bullet that ricochets off like 10 metal beams
Oh,
and
yeah,
then hits
they
a
did
guy
that.
behind him on the street. Oh, no.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
He was the first cop.
he was
Puppet
the
cop.
first. Yeah, he was the first puppet cop, and then and everybody hates puppets because they're just like I don't
They're
know.
the racist.
There's like a real, I say half-assed, but probably not even that, like quarter-assed social commentary throughout the
Mhm.
whole movie
about how I hate,
humans
hate
hating
puppets.
but they don't really go into.
I don't know which
Dialogue, they
real
don't-
group they were meant to represent at all.
No, that's why I say like quarter
All of
assed.
them.
It's like they have this. There's discrimination against puppets, but they don't really dive deep into it. It doesn't have any arc. None of that's
There's no
resolved
there's no
or
resolution.
further explained by the end of the movie at all.
Okay, we gotta continue
Yeah.
with
Do
the
it.
synopsis.
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
So
Get it done.
he teams up. Detective Puppet teams up with his enemy cop, Fatso Melissa McCarthy.
Fatso McCarthy.
Fatso McCarthy.
Melissa.
To solve the mystery. Will they solve the murders or not? Yeah, I guess they do. By the end.
Right.
So, Meet the Feebles is just a way better version of this. It's in 1989. Peter Jackson directed his second movie, long before he did Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
There's a $750,000 budget, so basically nothing. That he does quite a lot with.
Probably spent almost all, if not just all, the money on the puppets. It's really great looking puppets.
There's a
Yeah,
Definitely some
yeah.
animatronic
Puppets and
on
sets. I think everything else must have been cheap.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Meet the Feebles, they got a sweet theme song. Meet the Feebles, Meet
And-
the Feebles.
So
And
good.
they kept it closer to a puppet parody in that it's like the
Muppet
exact,
parody.
it's the exact concept of the Muppets. Like it's
They
a
have
movie.
a show,
This movie is about the Feebles putting on like this puppet show for television.
this variety.
Yeah, like a variety
The
style
Feebles
show.
Variety Hour.
Well, it's described as a sleazy, like these puppets, these animals and insects delving into the sleazy side of entertainment.
Yeah, so you start to see the behind the scenes workings of this show, and everything on show is seemingly pretty, TV family friendly. But
They're
then,
just singing and dancing, and
Yeah,
there's
just
a reggae
pretty
guy.
understood the Feebles part of it.
but
Yeah,
then
yeah.
in the background, they're all like doing coke and
They went to
filming,
war.
filming illegal
It's
pornography.
like murders.
One of them has PTSD from a Vietnam.
Yeah, that character was one of my favorites. The Vietnam War, the PTSD guy. He's just begging some rat for coke or heroin or something like that. Here, it's all the money I have. Great, that's what you owed me from last week. Give me 50 more bucks by 6. He's like, no, I'm dying here. So it's like this Muppet crackhead guy's having flashbacks to the Vietnam
It was
War.
a very racist scene too. Those were like super Vietnamese looking like puppets. They
Yeah,
had
yeah.
like buck teeth, and they're all like, "Oh, I'm so sorry."
Yeah,
It's very rough.
there's
I was like, "This wouldn't fly today."
It's a puppet movie. Everything about what a puppet does
Yeah.
is supposed to, an exaggerated, cartoony form,
I would-
real life form of life.
I would say too, the jokes they make that are kind of extreme in that movie wouldn't fly these days, which is why the Happy Time murders. It's really flat in
Well,
like the joke telling.
Well,
Because
don't
it's-
worry.
part of what-
Happy Time Murders made some jokes that were directly ripped out of the Meet the Feebles. So,
Can I ask you guys?
I don't remember any jokes in this. In
Yeah,
Happy
I want to
Time
know
Murders.
literally if you can remember how many times you laughed at the Happy Time murders. Do you remember
under
that?
5, definitely under 5.
I don't know if I did any. I'm sure I did, but nothing comes to
I
mind.
chuckled. at
There was a lot of. I found there was a lot of concepts that were funny, but their
Mhm.
executions were always just.
I only
Dull
remember laughing
and flat.
once, just once.
Okay, we're talking about Meet the Feebles here.
Dude.
Okay, continue.
I can
Go,
tell
you
you.
tell us now.
The only scene that I laughed at was, and it's just because the premise I think was really hilarious, is when the FBI agents show up to his office, his like detective office,
Uh-huh.
and he's like having sex with this woman in his
With
office,
this
Another puppet, yeah.
and he's banging her like crazy up against the window, and then they can see her, and then he starts like jizzing everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's like silly,
It's
straight.
literally silly.
And it's so like over the top and awkward. It's really hilarious.
yeah,
That
that's
joke was stolen from Meet the Feebles.
Was it?
Yeah.
it was also like definitely the funniest like puppet style joke they had
Yeah.
because it's like
Because it was a
the
bit
guy's
physical
jizzing
comedy.
everywhere.
Yeah. It made me
But
so
it's just
uncomfortable, but it
silly
was.
string being sprayed everywhere. It's that's a good example of a joke. It's like that's a funny joke,
Yeah.
but I don't think it got a chuckle out of me. But
No.
that is an example of an actual joke.
It was a deeper joke, I think, than all the other jokes because you got the awkwardness of the FBI agents, and it made me wonder, like, is this how puppets like ejaculate? Like, do all of them do it?
I wonder how puppets ejaculate, actually.
Yeah.
I've always wondered that.
I just assumed they just always got ejaculated into. I never thought about that.
More times than not, you're right.
Yeah, there's a scene in Meet the Feebles where there's just some janitor or something you're following around as he's checking on all the cast members or something, and you kind of
He's
get
a-
to see what they're doing.
He's
Some
a new cast member.
some new cast member guy. So and he walks into some dungeon and he sees some guy whipping some cow with giant udders,
Yeah.
some Muppet cow, and he comes in to stop them, but then they realize that they're just filming a pornography scene. Whatnot. And it's super sleazy. It's just in some base. It looks like an actual dungeon or whatnot. And then the cow's just spraying her milk everywhere and stuff. And I go, oh yeah, this Happy Time Murders stole that exact joke and put it in there because there's a scene in the Happy Time Murders where they go into the back of some VCR shop, some porn shop, and
Cal's getting like
then some cows getting milked and
by an
they're spraying.
octopus, I think.
Yeah, they just opted with an octopus or something like that, and that was kind of a funny joke. And I said the only kind of funny jokes in the whole movie were ones that they were just stolen from Meet the Feebles.
When they were just puppet gags, they weren't like Melissa McCarthy was throwing jokes like crazy, but
Oh god, yeah.
none were funny.
I mean, my biggest criticism of this movie is that it's just it's almost a great example, I would say, of a modern comedy with just no jokes.
Mhm.
No jokes, and also doesn't take advantage of filmmaking as a medium for comedy.
It had no meat. Like
It gets really close into Lady Ghostbusters territory. So
Very close.
my summary of the Lady Ghostbusters 2016 movie was just there were 500 jokes and about 2 of them were funny and they were just being machine gun fired into your ears.
You know what I noticed? I don't know how to put it into words. The comedy in these things. It's the way that they talk. It's more talking comedy. Like that awkward.
Yeah, well, they're just saying
cadence.
jokes.
Not even the
There's-
jokes. It's just the cadence of like the awkwardness, like being awkward. That apparently is the joke.
The
I don't get
reason
it.
for
I
this,
know. That's it.
No, you'll have to tell. I don't get what you mean. I need an example, but
Well, the reason for this is that this is a huge problem I have with a lot of modern comedies, and we touched on this a bit when we did our Edgar Wright Hot Fuzz episode.
Mhm.
But I'll just quickly go over it. Is that most modern comedies? Like I hate most modern comedies. I just don't find them funny anymore, and they don't take advantage of filmmaking as a medium. So, for example, in an action movie, if you're filming a car chase, you use certain filming techniques to make the car chase more exciting. You put the camera down real low to the ground, so it makes the car seem like it's going real fast. It's just super low to the ground. Stuff like that. Like that's strategically positioned cameras to make the action in the scene.
Yeah, those design shots on purpose.
You can do the same thing with comedy. Like you can have a shot that's funny because of maybe something that's framed in the background or whatever. Edgar Wright, the guy who did Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, just a brilliant director. He's one of the only comedy directors really doing this. All the other comedy movies are always let's get together a bunch of quote unquote funny people, and it's usually just a bunch of fucking Saturday Night Live rejects. And then we'll have a really loose script, and we'll just let them improv the whole thing because these people, they're so gosh darn funny, they'll come up with all sorts of great stuff. The problem, that can maybe work
if they're actually funny.
If they're actually really funny, but most of the time they're not. But the other major problem with this is that because of this, you're filming scenes to be shot based on improv, so you don't know exactly what they're going to say. Like maybe a character will say something, and then if you have a picture of whoever they're talking about, like a painting, a portrait in the background, like that could be like a funny framing thing.
Yeah.
But because it's improv, they don't know what they're going to say, so they can't plan for anything like that.
That's
so the
interesting.
camera is always locked down in like a medium shot, and then like a shot reverse shot so close in on each other's face, just talking. It's shot like it looks like a fucking soap opera. And
Yeah.
it's shot so fucking bland and boring, and that's why every joke in this movie feels so lifeless because none of them like. There's no thought into making this, like using filmmaking as the medium for the comedy. They don't do it anymore.
I think that's very accurate. Yeah, I think take the Muppets movie, like an actual Muppets movie. They write and design everything in it. Like they all have all kinds of setups and follow throughs and everything.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah, and so this kind of movie, I think it's a really cheap way to make movies. Is probably what it is.
So I could go on just boringly explaining like this whole concept, but I highly recommend anyone who's maybe interested in that or just wants to see a cool, like really quick, like less than 10-minute long video. There's a YouTube channel. He doesn't do it anymore, but it's still up. The channel is called Every Frame a Painting.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I've seen that a lot. Actually.
He did an episode on Edgar Wright, and he talks about pretty much exactly what I'm talking about here, how people don't really use the medium for comedy anymore. And yeah, so when you get a bunch of incredibly, just fascinatingly unfunny people like Melissa McCarthy and whoever that other lady was, the secretary,
Yeah, she was
I'm
on
pretty
SNL.
sure she was an SNL reject.
Idiocracy.
Yeah, it's like,
She's never done anything funny like
No,
I've
never.
never seen.
No, Idiocracy. She was in. I love that movie, but I would say
Also,
she's
she-
like a funny partner.
Yeah, we can't even say who she is. I don't even. Not worth talking about in my
No.
the thing that sucks too is like this. So when I'm talking about using the filmmaking to actually create the comedy, a Muppet movie, like a puppet movie like that, is perfect. And
Mhm.
they almost get it with a few scenes, like the idea of the puppets snorting sugar. Because it's like
Yeah.
puppets are still like even if they still look goofy and cartoony like they would like on a Muppet show.
Yeah.
So it's funny this idea that they would like sugar is their drug and they're
Yeah,
snorting,
that was a pretty
they're
funny
snorting it.
premise.
They're snorting it through Twizzlers, but it's just like this one shot, this one scene of them doing something. They never quite go far. enough.
Which is the right line. Like it reminds me of like the Naked Gun movies, like those old Lampoon style movies,
Yeah.
Airplane and those kind of things.
Yeah,
They did that kind of comedy perfect.
Yeah.
Those are so funny because they're silly.
yeah. The parody in Airplane, they got like, oh, let's get the co-pilot on, and it's just a blow-up doll that sits
Yeah.
there co-piloting
Yeah.
with them.
I think that
And then
kind
they
of humor
interact with
is
him like
what's
the real
super-
co-pilot at some points in some tense scenes. Yeah.
But yeah, you want to talk about a direct comparison to Meet the Feebles. We were just talking about that guy with PTSD, or that puppet in Meet the Feebles with PTSD, and he's doing heroin, and he's having flashbacks to a fictional version of the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
That's fun. Like if you just shot it as it was, it's like yeah, this should just be about a drug addict. But you see a Muppet doing that.
It's just funny
hilarious.
to make them up.
It's just hilarious because
Yeah.
they're so like child friendly looking. It's like there's so many opportunities in the Happy Time Murders for that. And they kind of get it in a couple things, but they never quite take it far. It's always just like,
I wrote down a note about it, just saying that I think it was funny without trying to be funny. And that's the other thing the Happy Time Raiders did wrong, is they're really trying to be funny. Meet the Feebles, I think it was just funny. Like, it's that Vietnam scene, it's like literally like Vietnam.
yeah,
These puppets, like, they're torturing turtles
because
and making them, like, say these sayings.
I think even like Peter Jackson, because this is an early Peter Jackson movie.
Which
This is
surprised
one
the
of-
hell out of
one
me.
of his, within his first 5, I think it's like the 3rd movie he ever did.
Yeah.
But even then, he had an understanding that, yeah, taking puppets and putting them in and showcasing this horrific scenario, but everyone involved is a puppet. That's funny, and yeah, it's like you're saying. There's something very off-putting about comedy where you can just tell they're trying their hardest to be funny, and it feels super forced. And
Very
that's why I bring up like these SNL rejects, and that to me feels like every Melissa McCarthy movie, at least the ones that
Yeah.
I've seen. I haven't seen many, but
Well, and I noticed this with SNL actors, actually. When they start out on SNL, they're brand new, and they do force it. And they are awkward and weird. But as they become veterans,
yeah,
they loosen up, they chill out. They actually start.
there was like a golden era of SNL, like
Mhm.
back in the 80s or maybe a bit the early 90s. Like,
Chevy
and that's
Chase,
essentially
Bill
where
Murray,
where we got Ghostbusters from, like
Totally.
Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd.
Yep.
Was Bill Murray on SNL?
Probably maybe as a writer. He was never on as an actor.
Okay, yeah. I never followed SNL closely, but there was a golden era. But now it feels like with these Saturday Night Live actors that get into regularly making these comedy movies,
Mhm.
they never get past that phase that you're talking about.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, maybe when they first started out on SNL, they they were trying to make a name for themselves, and their comedy felt a bit forced while they were still getting the groove of their place on the show.
Yeah.
But now it feels like they just never got past that stage, and they're still just forcing comedy. It's just the worst.
Maybe it's a sign of our generation.
I don't know.
Those are our generation guys now up there.
Yeah, another example of a perfect scene that would be great for filmmaking to dictate the comedy. Early on, one of the puppets that gets killed, someone just releases a bunch of dogs into his into his apartment, house, whatever. But it's not like a bunch of vicious pit bulls or anything. It's a bunch of like cute little, like a Jack Russell Terrier and whatever, and little dogs and whatnot. They love just ripping up stuffed animals and whatever. So they go right for the puppet and they're just ripping them into pieces. It's funny, like that's a funny concept, but there's just something about the way they shoot it. And then they cut away to this human character that he was trying to bang.
Oh yeah, which made it weird.
On the blend, it's
Well, she turns on the blender. She goes, I'm just gonna go blend some stuff. I'll be right back. And she turns on the blender, and the music's already getting kind of minor. Okay, so he's gonna get murdered, and she's not gonna be able to hear because she's standing by the blender.
Yeah, immediately
it was immediately annoying before the gag even happened.
Immediately lost sight of what made this joke funny. It's funny because it's supposed to be this vicious murder, but he's a puppet, so they just release a bunch of cute little dogs that just want to tear their stuffed animal apart. Yeah. That's your focus. Focus on shooting that from all the hilarious angles you can.
Yeah.
And then
focus on the cuteness and the contrast.
They cut back to some joke that could be told in any scenario, regardless of puppets. This person doesn't notice because they have the blender on. It's
the oldest joke. It's such an old, tired joke.
Well, yeah, it's the play their
puppets.
piano, George. That whole thing.
No, I don't know that.
The shot, the piano cover the shot.
Could you explain what you mean?
No, I can't.
Okay, that's all right. And I was thinking they should have just made the dogs Chihuahuas or something.
They should have. Yeah, they didn't.
That's the thing with up the contrast, right?
Yeah,
like a corgi would have been perfect.
Yeah,
well, that's what was kind of horrific. He was being torn apart, and it was so gruesome. But yeah, there's such cute dogs, and he is like in such agony.
Poodle and.
That was fairly funny, but it was cringy.
I mean, it wasn't that funny, but at least it could have been funnier. It just shows how much they screwed up a joke that was served up on a silver platter.
Yeah, exactly. It's an example. You have a concept that's inherently funny concept. You're not going to be slapping your knee over the concept. But if someone shot it just right, that I can just imagine a version of that that's 20 times funnier than what they did, and that's the whole movie. Most of it isn't even. There's very little of these puppet jokes. Most of it is just jokes that could have been done because they just fall back on the improv bullshit.
I think you're totally right because there's a lot of jokes. Like I just felt it was a very boring movie, like all around pretty boring. Well, there was one scene where he's like getting beat up by a couple thugs, He's just like, I don't have any bones. It's like they're
Yeah.
they're just beating up a
Yeah.
puppet, and I'm like, what do they think they're doing? Then? Like, do they know they're hurting him, or
Yeah, they're
I'm
pretty
confused.
familiar with how puppets work at this point because
Yeah.
they seem to beat them up all the time.
They hate them.
So why are these thugs regularly beating up puppets if they know that doesn't do anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, great joke, idiots. Speaking of idiots, get ready for this week's Baby Boomers Are Shit.
Of the
week. Oh yeah,
Of
nice.
the week. I mean, of the week.
I thought it was German.
Of the week.
Yeah, that one's the best one. Baby boomers. So we've already talked about baby boomers. They go to some destination like the Eiffel Tower and they buy a T-shirt.
They love their vacation shirts. The Eiffel Tower, the whatever the temples in Mexico, whatever.
But we haven't talked about blue collar T-shirts that baby boomers love. Do you know what type of T-shirts I'm talking about here?
Do you mean like a novelty style shirt? Or I just lost all sound.
Yeah. I'm just covering the sound here. Sorry about the equipment there.
Way to go. I got nothing.
Okay, don't worry about that. So technical difficulties there.
So what are these shirts?
So let me just fix that.
Molly's gone and ruined everything.
Fix the internet
He's
before
trying to pick up his phone and just trashes everything. Thank God he didn't knock over all these VHS covers we have here.
That's not working.
No, I got mine working now.
Okay, there we go.
And we're back, folks.
We are back. All right. So here's one for you. Forklift operator seems to be a really good title for a lot of these. My sense of humor may hurt your feelings or offend you. I suggest you buckle up, Buttercup. I change for no one.
Yeah, so these are like novelty shirts.
And there's just a picture of a forklift, like in the middle of
Yeah, I've
all
definitely
this
seen
stuff.
a lot of them wearing stuff like that.
There's got to be 90 fonts on this T-shirt
A
here.
whole lot of boomer attitude.
It's my sense of, and then humor, and like another font, and then may hurt, but it's sideways down. There's just a tiny. So I got a whole slew of these T-shirts that they love. Another forklift operator one. I try to make things idiot-proof, but they keep making better idiots. Does that sound like a T-shirt a baby boomer
Yeah,
would
because
like?
they're very self-congratulatory.
Yeah.
Anything that pats them on the back, they're just obsessed with.
We're better.
Tell this truck driver how to do his job, ... And you can tell the doctor the last thing you remember. You've been warned.
My lord.
Mess
Oh my God.
with me, I fight back. Mess with my truck, and they'll never find your body.
Oh.
I don't even know.
Oh,
Like,
boy.
what's the punchline on that one?
You gotta link me to where you see
That's
That's just a. That's just
not even a
you-
thinly
you want me
veiled threat. That's just a threat.
That's just a flat out threat.
That's what humor is to boomers.
Threats. It's just
Boomer
just
humor.
threatening younger people. I don't know. I can't link this to you right now, so that's
Blowing it.
pretty unfortunate. I got two more here. So some more. Oh yeah, here's some boomers. It's all these blue collar ones that I'm finding in particular. But keep calm and let the radio operator handle it.
Nailed it.
nailed that already really awful. I don't snore. I dream I'm a bulldozer.
Oh my God.
Yeah, these just like anti-comedy. It's just it makes you depressed hearing them. It's the opposite of comedy.
The
Yeah.
few, the proud, the insane. It's like they're sucking funny out of their
Yeah. It conjures nothing but like confusion.
Yeah, so baby boomers, you have the worst taste in T-shirts that I have ever seen. I don't know if they read them or if they're really proud of them or
I think they're just so lame that those actually are funny to them.
yeah, that's just
That's the mystery.
Is this a step up or down from their vacation shirts?
oh
By vacation shirts, you mean like? Are you talking about flower shirts, like Hawaii?
No,
shirts?
no, I mean like a shirt that they got while, like, say you go to Mexico and you have
in
a
the-
shirt with an iguana on it, it says
Mhm.
Mexico. Or you
Oh,
go to Paris, a shirt of the Eiffel Tower.
I got my.
Yeah, I guess we
You
do
find a
that.
lot of these knick-knacks they buy too in from vacations and Valley Village and stuff.
Before I answer your question, always give 110% at work. 12% Monday, 23%
Oh,
Tuesday.
boy.
And it just
But
goes.
again, it's just another like self-congratulatory like style shit. Like I guess like I'm complaining about work and whatever.
It's like a very subtle amount of cleverness in it, like very subtle.
By
It's
subtle, do you mean extremely small amount?
Yes. Yes.
It's not subtle.
Yeah, that's not subtle. It's just
Well, you could say
minuscule.
too subtle.
Yeah.
Weld, eat, sleep, repeat.
It's like very specific.
This is definitely worse than vacation shirts, and I'll tell you why. Because, and you won't believe the answer.
You won't.
Check reason number 4. These are trying to be funny, and they're not funny at all. Crappy vacation shirts are just trying to be crappy vacation shirts, and they're succeeding just fine.
They know what they are.
They know what they are. They know what they're doing. The
Yeah,
baby boomers
that's-
might not know what they are.
No, because I think the people who made the shirts, I mean, they're trying to sell a shirt, but
Yeah, what else you put on a shirt?
the mindset that they have while wearing them, I think, is a bragging thing. Like, hey, I went to Mexico.
Well,
Went to
and do you
Mexico.
think they wear them when they're in Mexico?
Definitely not. No, they bought them while they were in Mexico. Maybe on the flight home. Actually,
Yeah.
definitely on the flight.
I have a feeling they buy them there and wear them there, and then bring them home and wear them at home.
Could be.
Or maybe they don't wear them at home; they hang them up at home
And only wear
because it was a knick-knack. Now
Because it's like a
we got
weird-
this in Mexico.
It's like a weird bragging.
Now it's hanging up in
signaling
my
to
closet.
everyone sort of thing.
Caution, warning sign.
Hmm.
Your bullshit will not be tolerated today.
It just sounds like an angry person.
Like there's no.
That sounds like a woman that works in an office.
It sounds like somebody who just came up with a joke but hasn't had any time to iron it out so that it kind of goes well.
You know?
Mhm.
They just took the very first take.
They weren't going
That's
for
a joke.
funny; they were going for sassy.
Yeah, it's exactly how you would expect. You're talking to a 70-year-old man who doesn't get along with his coworkers because he's the grumpy guy. It's like asking Red Foreman, "Hey, say something sassy,"
Mm.
and he's like, "I don't know what the fuck you're talking about," but like,
Well, it would be like asking him to say something funny, and he'd be like, say what, dumbass, or
yeah,
kind
I
of
mean,
like
that's a.
that's what is funny.
I mean, they would write that funny. Maybe Red Foreman's not the best
what's
example.
funny
but
to a
it's-
trucker or like a trailer park stay-at-home mom?
Anyways, that's why boomers are shit this week.
Mm. Good reason.
Always shit.
Always shit.
Speaking of shit.
Speaking of shit, one of my favorite characters in Meet the Feebles is this fly journalist, which is already a great joke. They have a puppet fly who's a journalist.
There's like literal
Fly
scenes of
on
him
the
eating
wall.
shit in a toilet.
Yeah, so
He looked pretty great. too.
it's so he's basically the main character in Meet the Feebles. Not the main character in the movie, but the head star is kind of this jazz jack rabbit kind of guy. He's instead of Kermit the Frog, it's him, right? I mean, so he's the Kermit the Frog basically, except instead of being Kermit the Frog, he's a rabbit who gets like AIDS or something, and he's just getting like poop out of his eyes and stuff, like he's just rotting away.
It's so nice.
It's
He gets
so
some
gross.
unknown STD, and just as the movie goes by, he gets more decrepit.
AIDS is the closest thing that I can think of. He's just
when was this movie? When did it come out?
1989.
Because AIDS was kind of a big thing back then, wasn't it?
Yeah, so
Well, they never say which one. What is?
They say it's the
They
big
say
one.
it's the big one. So it's definitely hinting at HIV or AIDS.
So this fly is basically just pestering him because they're like, "Oh, I'm going to write about how your show is going to go down now that you've got AIDS, and everyone's going to find out you got AIDS and whatnot." And he's just sitting there talking to him. So the fly is in the guy's toilet, and he's got a bowl with a spoon as he's shoveling shit into his
It's
mouth.
so, like,
It's like really close ups. Like you can see like just the fly's head and just just shit just smearing over his lips.
I just love seeing, like, imagining Peter Jackson direct.
Again, this is a great example of him understanding using that visual as the joke, like just the very idea.
Well, it's like it's not that funny to think of flies eating poop. It's like flies eat poop.
Not
That's all they do. But just eating with a spoon and stuff, like it's just all of a sudden. As soon as you add that human element of like civilized spoons and bowls, immediately it's disgusting. Beyond the fact that it's just gross to watch.
Well, plus the visceral reality of it into a puppet,
which
I think was the difference.
They do eat poop.
It was the difference between the two movies. Like this, in the Feebles one, they had like actual liquids and actual like shit kind of like looking stuff.
Yeah, when you shot the puppets, they exploded into a mess of blood.
Yeah, in the Happy Time ones, it was like stuffing and like.
Yeah, and that's to avoid a bad
silly string. Yeah.
But yeah,
wasn't it an R-rated movie though? Like,
well,
I think so,
R-rated in the States, 14 years, but R-rated they're not necessarily too scared of nowadays, especially since after Deadpool.
They were saying fuck a lot. You can't say it more than once.
What they're trying to avoid is an NC-17, which is harder for younger people to get into.
Right.
Rated R.
So there was another great joke with this fly where it zooms up to the toilet basin or whatever, wherever you'd shit if you were leaving an upper decker, that area.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what I'm talking about now. And he's just in there. It pans up to it, and you can see the thing, and you can see the decker, the upper decker thing.
Yeah.
You can hear the flies in there. And then it does kind of this fadeaway so you can see through the ceramic so you can see him in there. And he's got a little dark room set up with a red light and he's developing photos of the guy's toilet. And it's like, there's no joke. There's nothing that you need to... Yeah. It's like, hey, nudge, nudge, wasn't that a funny joke? Like, which was basically this whole Happy Time.
It's not a line with a punchline.
No, it's just funny.
It's not patting itself on the back.
No, it's just another idea. I mean, the main problem with Meet the Feebles is that there's so many ideas that it gets like disorienting.
Well, the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, it's just funny idea after funny idea, but that can be not.
Essentially, what the movie is about. It's like this Muppet Show, and you see all the behind the scenes, and they're going to each character one by one. You see all the seedy shit they're involved with, or how their life is falling apart.
But that's a lot.
And for the first half an hour, it's like it's a variety show with a huge cast of characters. It feels a bit disjointed at the beginning. But then as the movie goes, you see that it's actually telling the story about how the show is falling apart behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And it's kind of building up to their one big show that's going to get them on national television. So it kind of comes together. It is a bit disorienting at the beginning.
And so the Miss Piggy character, who's just this...
it's a big fat hippo.
She's just a big fat hippo. She just has like an eating disorder where she just goes to the bakery and just eats everything and stuff. And it's like... That's a pretty hilarious joke on Miss Piggy. Like it's such a dumb, like obtuse joke on it, but it ends up being pretty hilarious. So it's just the dark side of whatever.
I found it so disturbing the big puppets that were clearly people in puppet costumes. I found that so disturbing for some weird reason.
Yeah, it's bizarre to watch, man. So it's the Happy Time Murders. The joke that stands out to me as the most unfunny thing is Melissa McCarthy's looking for some crackhead guy in some crack shack, and which is basically just a copy of the Vietnam guy from Meet the Feebles.
Yeah.
And she walks in and she finds the guy and she's trying to ask him questions and he goes, "Oh, I need some money. I'll suck your dick for 50 cents." And
suck dick for 50 cents.
Yeah, and then
only not that funny.
And then she's like, "Well, I'm not a dude, so I don't have a dick."
Yeah, this is you're tapping into one thing that about all Melissa McCarthy.
And the guy's like, and then it does that kind of comedic pause, and then the guy's like,
"That's the
well, I'll still do it," and it's like, what is the joke here?
See, this is what I was saying. The awkward talking, how she talks, it's improv, but it's just the way she's.
Yeah, they just kind of edit. Well, they're talking about it like they're saying a joke, except for there's nothing funny. And we were in a theater with what I would consider complete slime, slope-headed idiots. and
nice way.
And they were not laughing very much at all. Like they were laughing. Like there were some jokes like that where they'd be laughing. Me and Andrew just like, oh,
but even then, there wasn't
There wasn't that many laughs
Still
for how many
pretty-
jokes?
That's another thing that reminded me
Of
going to see
Ghostbusters.
the Lady Ghostbusters.
You know what it reminds me of?
No laughs from most of the audience for about 98% of it.
It's funny that you bring up the boomer shirts because that's what it sounds like to me. Like
Yeah.
there's one joke.
Yes,
There's
it's
one-
a
yeah.
movie. You've unlocked it. It's
I
a
think I
movie
have.
of baby boomer t-shirts.
I'll tell you
with a
one
script.
joke. It's perfect. It totally reminds me of that. She's like trying to find this guy, or she's trying to find a detective, right? When he's gone away or whatever. He's like,
Right.
he's on the run. And she goes, like, she's on the pier by the beach, just walking around with a photo, being like, hey, have you seen this guy? Have you seen this guy?
Yeah.
And
She's searching for someone.
searching for someone. She walks up to like a pig, like a wild pig, and a crab.
Oh God!
And she's
Oh God! This was so bad.
and she's like, yeah, the crab says something like, oh, you know, you've had crabs before, and so she's like, punts him.
No, he doesn't
And-
say it in that subtle way. He
Yeah.
stops the entire pace of it to go, hey, you've had crabs before, right, lady? I'm a crab.
And then she punts him, right?
Yeah, she just grabs him and
So
kicks him.
Then the pig, I think she threatens him, the boar.
Yeah.
And she like, he tells her stuff, and she goes to give him like $100 bill, and he starts eating it. And she's like, what? Don't do that. She's like, takes the bill back. And he's like, oh, but I'll take that. And she's like, no, you should have bought some food with it.
Yeah, I didn't even understand.
I didn't-
was
no,
like,
she
was-
is this a
She
joke?
was saying if you're
That's
gonna,
what I was
she
saying,
said if
like-
you're gonna eat it, just buy $20 worth of food
Yeah,
instead of eating the
should have thought
bill.
about that before you're going to eat it.
Like it was like they set up this thing that didn't make any sense, and then they didn't seem to know it. Didn't.
It's boomer.
it was a
Maybe
it was
this
a bizarre
movie
joke.
was geared toward boomers.
No, stuff like Wild Hogs, that movie where a bunch of boomers get motorcycles.
Tim Allen and John Travolta,
Yes.
right?
So then it means
That's a
odds
movie.
are boomers made it, aiming it toward a younger audience.
No, I
Don't
don't
want
think that's,
themselves.
I don't think that's true.
You were tapping into something that just annoyed the fuck out of me in this movie, and all Melissa McCarthy movies. Yeah, it's like a recurring gag where a bunch of people will mistake Melissa McCarthy for a dude. So, hey, man, get it? You can't be around. She's like, I'm not a man.
They do that in
I'm not a
all of her movies?
I've
I think I've
noticed this a
seen
few
that
times.
before.
What it is there because Melissa McCarthy's no fucking supermodel or anything. I can make a ton of jokes or whatever. She's not like hideous or anything like that. But she's not. She's definitely not what would be most people would consider attractive. And they definitely, I've noticed that they avoid calling her fat and making jokes about her size or whatever. And it's always, oh, you look like a dude. I've seen that before. And it's like, she doesn't really. And even her character in this movie doesn't look like a dude. No one would mistake her for a dude.
No.
There should be, this is Melissa McCarthy in a Muppet parody movie. There should be constant Miss Piggy jokes and stuff. But it's nothing even against her. Like, there's lots of older comedies, like Chris Farley movies. Like, Chris Farley made a career out of
Big
this.
guy in a little coat.
It's like-
That guy in the little
Yeah, whatever it is.
It's
It's just a dumb joke, but
like they can't, consider, like, they can't be the butt of a joke anymore.
I mean-
you have to have jokes like, oh yeah, sure, you look like a man, which is not even true.
it's
Yeah.
It's not so.
They're,
It's
they're
not
skirting,
funny because
they're
there's no
skirting the
truth.
fat joke.
They're avoiding it like the plague.
yeah. I think good on them for trying to avoid the low hanging fruit of just making fat jokes of the.
I would agree if this was a better movie.
Yeah, but they just replaced it with a joke that's
It's not
just as it's not.
Instead of low hanging fruit jokes, they're like, well, we don't.
Well, this
We're too good for the low hanging fruit jokes, so instead we'll just have no jokes.
It's kind of,
Take them all
instead we'll
out.
just take these apples we stepped on the ground.
Not even those.
At least there's something.
it's kind of a it would work as like a lambasting, like
Yeah,
joke, like
self-deprecating.
self-deprecating. It would work better as that kind of a
Yeah,
joke,
and right now, like,
which is her humor sometimes.
I'm making, I make a couple fat jokes here, calling her Miss Piggy or whatever, and some people will find that really mean-spirited and offensive, whatever. But if they were making those jokes in the movie, like acknowledging that she's not this supermodel actress, which she's not trying to do, so it's not really an insult. That would take all the power away from mean jerks like me if she was actually not trying to punch up. Like, she's trying to punch down, like poke fun at yourself and whatever. I don't do that anymore. And I've definitely noticed that.
Also-
with characters, with actors and actresses like Melissa McCarthy, where they're not like supermodels or whatever, they never
Yeah.
acknowledge what everyone's thinking.
Well, she does seem to acknowledge that she's not a classic beauty. Like she will
Sure.
like focus on the looks of another woman, like especially like the beautiful ones, and like point it out and make jokes about it.
But
And
they
it's a bit self-deprecating, but
It
But again,
feels
they do it-
so like she's being dragged behind a horse to do that.
yeah,
Like it like
Good way to put it.
you guys pointed out Chris Farley, and nobody feels like Chris Farley is insecure or did.
No.
yeah.
Like Chris Farley was insecure about his weight because he really embraced
He
that.
owned it.
Like,
Yeah,
one of
he
his-
owned the
one of his-
shit out of
He
it.
did.
One of his biggest Saturday Night Live skits was him either trying to audition or being a part of the Chippendales dances.
With Patrick,
Just like
with
those like
Patrick
shirtless,
Swayze.
like handsome, like buff dudes. Like
No, it was with him and Patrick Swayze. And they're both doing the same dances, and the judges are like, "Well, we really like you, but he just has a really great body."
And it's Chris Farley who has the great body.
No, Patrick Swayze.
Well, that would have been funnier skit if they were rejecting Patrick Swayze and they were, oh, Chris Farley's got just such a great body.
I wonder if he did lose that. I
It's
don't know.
it's a real slim 350 pounds. Like, yeah, like I don't know. I think you can take that low hanging fruit and make it funny depending on the scenario that you set up. I mean,
Yeah.
the joke with fat guy in a little coat wasn't that he was a big guy in a little coat. It was that he was making David Spade uncomfortable and he's
Yeah.
ruining his coat,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Again,
And he was being silly. Like that is a big
taking
part.
the low hanging fruit is better than taking the no hanging fruit. Right? Like, don't act like you're like this is some prestigious movie or whatever. This is not highbrow comedy. It's a Muppet movie. Like, take the Muppets, put them in scenarios that are just ordinarily graphic or whatever. That's funny. It's easy, but it's funny seeing that. It's like Melissa McCarthy. It's like, yeah, have her. Again, she's not like a classic beauty, but the thing is, she's not a classic beauty because she looks like a dude. She doesn't look like a dude at all. It's because she's a little heavier set.
Well, I'm wondering what her appeal really is, because like in this movie,
She was
I
in
didn't-
Bridesmaids.
I didn't-
That's her appeal.
I didn't buy her as a cop. I didn't buy her as a good
Oh
fighter.
God, I didn't buy her as a cop so bad.
Oh.
But I also didn't buy her as like a good fighter or a drug addict.
No, you just bought her as someone who doesn't like the male puppet dude,
Mhm.
like the detective.
And she's
puppet.
quippy, right?
Has Melissa McCarthy done anything good or even popular since Bridesmaids?
People talk about that
Bridesmaids.
Spy movie.
I
That
am
movie
so-
Spy. I hear even on the
I
internet.
liked her in the Identity Theft movie with Jason Bateman, where she stole his identity,
Okay.
and they're kind of like,
I guess the only other ones I've seen.
Sounds awful, but I guess.
well, she's the identity thief, and you go to her house and she's got like 6 microwaves and like she's just got way too much.
I stole all these people's identities.
Yeah,
so I
she's
can
just
have their
collecting a
microwaves.
bunch of crap and like yeah, it's kind of hilarious.
The only other movies I've seen her in that I remember, at least ones that she was prominent in, was The Lady Ghostbusters, which was just notoriously awful.
Mhm.
The Heat.
The Heat, which I went into not even knowing it was a movie. It was just my buddy was like, hey, I'm at the theater, want to come check
I
it
think
out?
that was me.
Yeah, either way, I was like, oh, okay. I didn't know who was in it. I knew nothing about it. Another buddy cop movie with Melissa McCarthy, where she keeps taking these cop roles.
I think she's either typecast or she's like
Typecast as a cop.
I don't know. I honestly don't know if that's what it means, but she gets the same role over and over. It's just like she's like the Paul Blart. You know what I mean? Like the
Yeah.
female comedians right now.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah.
I don't
No
know what
one
you
does.
just said.
Well, let's say this.
What is the?
No one does.
In regards to the Happy Time Murders movie, I can think of no better casting choice for a character addicted to sugar than Melissa McCarthy.
That was an interesting
Nailed
joke
that
in there.
cat.
Yeah, that was actually one of the funnier jokes that she was addicted to sugar, and then they just
It's
kind
like
of
I'm nowhere with it.
Yeah, they just forgot about it. Like she was addicted to it as if it was heroin or something, or cocaine
Well,
or
and
something. Like she
It
needs
did it
it.
wonky because like she did it to prove to them that she was like had a puppet
Well,
liver. But the next thing you know, she's like, fuck off to the trailer to like snort it with the thing. But I guess later on they go back to her house and she is like a sugar addict. She has like sugar all over the place.
They fucked up this joke on all regards. So they fucked it up on the mean spirited joke that I'm making about she's a big fat, so it probably has a sugar.
Yeah, they didn't make that clear.
They didn't make that. That wasn't the joke because they
won't make fun of her for
terrified.
being
They're
fat.
terrified to make fat jokes nowadays, so that wasn't the joke.
Mhm.
I bet you it's in her contract.
Yeah, maybe. No, I don't know. Like,
No,
I know
I
what it
think
is. I think they're
her
afraid of
audience.
that.
I think her audience is
They
probably
want to be empowered.
so
they're
if
probably similar to her. They're,
It's
they're a little bit
Listen.
overweight and
If you're a fan of Melissa McCarthy,
kill yourself.
you can do so much better if you're a fat woman and you need Melissa McCarthy to empower you to feel like
Beautiful.
a positive movement. You don't need Melissa McCarthy. Anyone is better. Yeah, even a skinny girl would be a better role model for you than her. Anybody funny. The only way to redeem Melissa McCarthy is if Quentin Tarantino casts her in his next movie, and then he'll fix her.
But yeah, this joke failed on all fronts. They eventually you learn that she got shot in an earlier flashback. Earlier point in her life she got shot, and the only nearest hospital was a puppet hospital, so they gave her a puppet liver. So they didn't actually acknowledge that that's why she's addicted to sugar, and I didn't even think of that until you, Muller, in the theater pointed. You made some allusion to it. I was like, oh yeah, I guess that would explain her addiction to sugar, but they don't acknowledge that at all in the movie.
No,
it was
they-
actually a strong premise
Yes.
that they just kind of glossed over.
yeah, I
and
didn't really get a
acknowledge.
strong vibe of it. What I got was like this drug they threw in her face would make a normal human like die.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, because it
but
was so
puppet-
much sugar.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was too sugary for a human to handle.
Oh my god.
But it's like, well, how quickly do you think that the liver is going to kick in? Because she snorts this sugar drug, and then she falls over and then gets back up. Oh, I'm alive because I really did have a puppet liver that can handle this much sugar. And like, how quickly do you think things get to your liver? Like, it takes a little bit.
Also, imagine
of
the
time.
possibilities if we can just replace our parts with puppet parts.
Just eat as much sugar as they
They
want.
skimmed over that.
Finally, I
brilliant
can eat as
thing.
much sugar as I want.
I can just be as hard as on my heart as I want.
So they failed on that because that was something that like Mueller just pointed out that they don't acknowledge that she has a puppet liver and that's what's fueling her addiction to sugar. And then later in the movie, when our characters are at their lowest, at the end of the second act, and the one detective cop, he's kind of been framed for all these murders. He's in jail, and it's up to Fatso McCarthy to get her out. And you see in her apartment, there's sugar everywhere. It's like this was, I mean, it's an easy structure to go to, but it would have been very simple. So she's at home snorting sugar or whatever, and then maybe looks at a picture of her detective and pushes the sugar away and kind of beats her addiction. This subplot goes nowhere. It doesn't do any of that. It's just she's addicted to sugar for some of the movie. There's one gag where she's snorting sugar with a Twizzler, which is funny, but it goes nowhere. It doesn't, even though this character has a crippling addiction to sugar that's acknowledged, goes nowhere. It's not worked into the plot at all. By the end of it, they just forgot it. They just forgot about it. It's just a complete failure on all fronts in terms of comedy.
It's unfortunate.
script.
I was actually really looking forward to it because I was hoping it was actually really funny. Like you can
There's
do
potential.
you can do whatever you want. It's rated R.
There's potential. We all
Make it-
saw.
just
We
make it
all
good.
saw Meet the Feebles. There's the classic that everyone has seen, and definitely not the one.
I'm trying to imagine it in like another team's hands what it could have been because like that potential. Like,
I mean, I liked the premise. Like, even it's just a
Good
buddy
premise.
cop kind of movie, but there's puppets.
well, I like the premise of a world of puppets. Actually,
Try to
it's a,
integrate.
yeah, and it's a type of movie that isn't really done outside of Muppet movies, right? Like the Muppets, like Jim Henson Muppets.
I mean, essentially, this movie, at least with the social commentary of mixing people and Muppets, it's trying to do what Who Framed Roger Rabbit already did.
Mm-hmm.
There's a
Did it very well, actually. Yeah.
There's a
Bob
disparage
Hoskins
between
being the exact detective PI.
and like the
Oh my god.
the disparage between Who Framed Roger, between the cartoons and Who Framed Roger Rabbit and the humans. There's a big one. Like, there's a villain who's there dunking them into acid.
Yeah.
This movie, it sets up that humans and puppets aren't getting along, and it goes nowhere. It basically just goes. It goes a little bit, but basically doesn't go anywhere.
Hey, can we make some money?
Not on this show. But let's try.
We got a special ad read here. So let's let me find the tape here, and I'll just hit play here.
Hey, how do you like your teeth? You're the regular white teeth. They're just normal white, and pretty much like everyone else's. Some are yellow, most are white. You should try our new product. It's called Tooth Polish. You put color on your teeth be different. It's new, and they can try rainbow or red. Try the red one or blue. You can get new smells too, like an egg. Try egg smell. Maybe like some flowers. You buy them at your local paint shop. It's cheap.
All right.
It's down to pick up in the hip hop community. They was wearing grills and stuff like that.
Yeah, teeth polish.
It's a nice rainbow colored popcorn scented teeth.
Egg, hard boiled egg from 7-Eleven.
It sounds really good.
Scented teeth.
I think rappers will definitely buy it.
You get some red teeth.
Yeah.
Get some. You wonder if you get some mouth colored teeth. Looks like you got invisible teeth.
I'm gonna go for Suicide Squad teeth.
Yeah, what's that?
Kind of shitty. And lots of pinks and blues.
Kind of crappy teeth. Pretty good. Wow. I don't know if I have anything else to say about the Happy Time Murders.
I actually have something that I don't know if it was an Easter egg or a callback or what it is, but not on the Happy Time, but on the Feebles. I noticed in the Vietnam scene they had like a Russian roulette moment.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was awesome. That was a great.
It's actually straight up from like Deer Hunter with Christopher Walken. I was like, this is awesome that they're doing this with puppets.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put this gun to my head and blow it off.
Is that what he says in Deer Hunter?
I don't know. It's him and Robert De Niro.
Is it the exact same scene? Because in the Meet the Feebles one, the Vietnamese whatever dudes are.
Guy's having a flashback to Vietnam.
Yeah, he's a POW.
He's captured him. Yeah,
so they're making him play Russian roulette with a 6-shooter, and then they put 3 bullets in after he survives, and then they just put 6 bullets in. I don't know if that was...
Which is a great joke, actually, because normally it's 1 bullet.
Yeah. Well, then they started with 1 bullet. It was very much an airplane naked gun kind of
That's
joke.
the humor they should have for these movies.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean it's like 30 years later, so I mean I'm not sure.
Well, Naked Gun, they still crack me up. They're just because it's stupid, but they play it serious.
That's a classic like Leslie Nielsen style joke, like just 6 bullets in the 6-shooter.
But it's a lot like what Andrew was saying. Like you got to have actually like some deadpan normal thing happening, but in the background something funny's happening, or something funny's happening. Everything else is kind of deadpan normal. They didn't have that contrast.
Well, you need to have
because they're just shooting for improv, which is we have to shoot this as flat angles as possible.
Which is stupid comedy.
As I brought up before,
it's comedy that only works if everyone involved is incredibly funny. Like if their banter is incredibly funny. Melissa McCarthy and some puppet and some Saturday Night Live reject, nothing.
I don't even think Melissa McCarthy would be fun to just hang out with.
I don't know. Like I'd be interested to see. I don't know. I haven't seen anything on her personal life. I don't know if this is a studio thing or if that's just who she is.
She's like somebody's sassy mom that kind of like gives you a little jabs with humor, but not like laugh out loud funny.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I get from her.
Yeah, like more sassy than she is funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what? My biggest disappointment with the Happy Time Murders was I thought they'd at least dabble into this a little bit. No, like puppet slurs, like no like ethnic slurs for puppets.
Same problem with Brokeback Mountain.
They already established that there's.
They did have some kind of like name calling. Like they're like you like they said they're just like a pillow, this or that kind of thing.
No, but there was no regular slur.
Yeah.
So
like what's the N word?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Either
the P word.
A non-comedy reference in the new Blade Runner. People call Ryan Gosling's character. Spoiler alert for the new Blade Runner or even the old Blade Runner. Watch them; they're great.
Anyone is into running blades.
Yeah, exactly. Ryan Gosling's a synthetic human, so he's either a cyborg or some kind of clone or whatever. People call him Skin Job because he's not real. And that's that slur is thrown around a lot because there is
Yeah.
they're just pointing out that there is tension between these two communities.
I want to plug myself slightly, but
Okay.
it's only slightly because
Yeah, no, go
I
ahead.
was involved with writing a story into a book. It was like my story. And the idea of the premise is that the moon has these creatures called Atlanteans.
Mhm.
And so they exist on a planet, let's say Mars.
Yeah.
And the society there doesn't like Atlanteans. So they call them moon babies.
Yeah.
And that's supposed to be very racist. That's a racial slur.
I was ready. I was hoping to see at least that, and I wanted them to be like, "Hey, get the fuck out of the way, fabric face," or something like that.
Yeah. You know what they should have been? It should have been Muppets. It should have been Muppet should have been the racial word.
Muppets.
Yeah. Yeah, you Muppet.
I think that-
Wait, whoa.
They might have had kind of a copyright.
Yeah, you can't say that word.
It's probably one term that is copyrighted. If
Well, that'd been
anything
great,
from
though.
Jim Henson is
Yeah,
probably.
You're probably
Muppets.
right, because a Muppet is a puppet.
I mean, maybe they could call it them, but because the show's about puppets, it would be pretty
Yeah.
hard for them to
No,
get
I
away
want
with
it-
calling them Muppets.
I want it to be like clearly used in hatred. Be like, "Get the fuck off the street, tough skin." And
Yeah.
Google eyes.
So I saw
Nothing. None of that. It was
Cotton gut.
So yeah, exactly.
a cotton breath.
How
That's
about
great.
Cottonmouth?
Yeah, ass breathers.
We're getting close to a racial
Are
slur.
we getting
All the
racist?
better, all the
Puppet
better.
racism?
Puppets.
You cotton mini?
None of that. They don't have it. It's just a perfect opportunity for comedy. Throw an
Yeah.
R-rated comedy.
Because that's the thing. That would
The
be it would be
non-poopers.
silly. It would be silly, but they could play it up like really kind of
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least, it would almost be funny. I mean, we should probably not suggest that for the Happy Time Murders. We wouldn't want it to be funny.
There's no
I
jokes
wish
in
it were
comedy
funny.
movie.
I wanted to laugh more than once.
Yeah, I wish this comedy was
The
funny.
only other thing I chuckled at because I was like, "What the fuck?" is like when that cow was getting milked in the porn shop. That was just like, what is happening?
Yeah, it was just a crappier version. It was just assaulting you with internet images.
Yeah.
It was just extreme, is all.
Oh, it's so random.
Which I think so. The two funny things for me were just very situational. They actually weren't necessarily on purpose.
I think it could
The
have been.
jizzing one, maybe.
Yeah, well,
Well, that type of I think the whole thing could have been funnier if they just really ran with the filthy aspect of it.
Yeah.
Have an R-rated puppet thing.
Yeah.
Seeing cartoony, happy Muppet characters do seedy shit, and there's just something inherently funny about it. Like I said, they got the googly eyes, they got these ridiculous haircuts. They're all like colored purple. And
they needed a sex slave.
Here's the
right?
thing.
Yeah, like really, or so the movie was called The Happy Time Murders. It's
Mhm.
about this show called The Happy Time Gang, a TV show, and they
It's
keep,
the Brady
keep
Bunch.
getting murdered. Yeah, they keep
The
getting murdered.
cast just starts to get murdered.
Whatever.
Picked off.
I think it would have maybe changed the script about it, whatever. But like, what if like the Happy Time Gang was an actual gang, and like a gang, and they were just a gang of puppets dealing drugs and shit, doing drive-bys, but they're doing drive-bys with like guns that shoot out like a punching glove or so, stuff like that. Like
You know what I wonder?
up the filthiness because
Mm.
taking Muppets and putting them in seedy, shady scenarios, there's something inherently funny about it. It's funny to see, but this movie just doesn't do it at all.
I feel like it fell short because of Melissa McCarthy. It actually it reminds me of
Don't have to convince me.
it reminds me of Beverly Hills Cop, right? So Beverly Hills Cop was originally written for Sylvester Stallone. He
Yeah.
came on board and starts rewriting the script like crazy, and that movie became Cobra,
Oh man,
and then
Cobra's awesome.
yeah. So this movie could have been awesome.
Wait, who's
And,
in Beverly Hills Cop? Is that Eddie Murphy?
Samuel Jackson,
No,
Eddie Murphy.
it's not Eddie Murphy. It's Eddie Murphy. He dresses up like Samuel.
So,
Jackson.
so I'm wondering if Melissa McCarthy's people were like, no, this is like we have to cater to Melissa McCarthy's strengths, which is this just funny banter,
Strength.
strengths,
So it's the improv banter. So
which
my-
obviously isn't a strength. That's
I
just-
thought I had this movie figured out. I always find when I go see a movie, whether I'm really within like the first 10, 15 minutes, I always find it's like whether I'm really liking it or really hating it. Usually for the first 10, 15 minutes, I can't quite pinpoint.
Mm.
If it's a movie I really hate, I'm like, I really hate this. I don't quite know why yet. And then as the movie goes on, I'm like, oh, okay, it was shot super boring, too much CGI, whatever. I start to see why.
So where did this fall for you?
It's not always clear to me. I thought I had this movie figured out in like the first 2 minutes.
You did?
I thought I did. My theory was
It was a good theory too. I was on
it was
board.
really good theory
Okay.
up until
You
the,
won't believe
up
this
until-
theory.
Up
Wait,
until the credits, I felt so strong about it.
wait until minute 4. You won't believe it.
You won't believe what happens next.
My theory was so we've talked quite a bit about how it's just this improv comedy. You have non-funny people trying to improv comedy, and that's what a lot of modern comedies do.
Yeah.
So my theory is that they weren't able to do this with this movie because they're dealing with Muppets. Because Muppets and puppetry and all that's very meticulously planned. You have animatronics on some of the puppets and whatever. So I thought, okay, they're going to have to actually work with the script because normally it's just let's get 2 Saturday Night Live rejects, they'll improv whatever. But now you have a puppet, so you have a puppet man, a puppeteer dude, whatever, and then probably they'll ADR in his vocals later, or his actual audio later. So they'll have an actual voice actor and put it in and sync it up. So I thought they can't improv because of that, and that because basically there's no comedy writers anymore because this is all modern comedies. It's just these SNL improv jerk-offs. That they actually just got some guy to try and write comedy, but all the comedy writers are dead. They've been exiled from Hollywood. So this is what we got was just someone unable to write jokes. I was sure that is what happened until during the credits they had like a Jackie Chan style behind the scenes outtakes. Not Jackie Chan style because
Oh, really?
yeah, they
I
had
didn't
like,
watch that far. Either.
they had behind the scenes like outtakes, and it actually showed that the puppeteer they were indeed improv it. So it was just back to it's just shitty improv. But I thought
They made an 80-yard later to say the same thing.
it could be, but I thought for sure they couldn't improv because of technical difficulties with the puppets.
That's an interesting
That
theory
was
to
my
have
theory.
while you're watching it too.
And I was sure of it. I was so sure that was not the case. It turns out they're all just incredibly improv.
I think a lot of those SNL actors, like a lot of them, maybe have gone on. Like I forget his name, but like the MacGruber guy, right? Like he's a really great writer. But a lot of these modern comedy writers, they're off doing more fringe stuff, more like sideline things, like Funny or Die, and doing their own pet projects because Hollywood just is so focused on money right now.
Well, it's probably this is raw speculation on my part, but I mean, I guess there's something probably very annoying about like every comedy role you go into in a movie. They're just relying solely on you to bring the comedy. They're like, okay, we got a loose script with no jokes.
Yeah.
Here's the framing of the scene.
Which works.
You make
like
it
you
funny,
said,
and it's just
Yeah.
like that's a lot of
with
pressure.
a
to put
very
on.
talented, very funny person. Like I think that's what they did with like Jim Carrey or
Yeah.
like Will Ferrell. Those kind of like guys.
Yeah.
Very good at it. But Melissa McCarthy, she's probably just like an okay actress.
Yeah.
And kind of like
I don't even think I would say that.
I'm sure there are some like comedians, whatever, that enjoy that.
mhm.
But for every movie role to be that, and there's like basically no one other than Edgar Wright actually filming comedy. So every role you're taking is just like you better make this funny, or else we have no movie. Like that's a ton of pressure to put on.
Yeah.
So it's fine to have some improv, but you're shooting comedy. Like it feels so fucking lazy.
I think you
to
can
put all the
have
pressure on one person.
the improv there, but you have to have like really hard like hitting jokes in there too.
Yeah.
That are designed that work really well.
Andy did something this week that really impressed me over the last 2
It might be
weeks.
the funniest thing I've ever done.
It's possibly the funniest thing that
Wait, I think I know what this is.
So
You all thought I peaked with the Not Moving Mueller Facebook event page. The Rock. This is funnier.
So we've been bringing in the last few episodes. Dave, I know that you're not really privy to this yet, but we've been bringing in some weathernetwork.com comments. So
I'm fairly privy to some of it.
So here's the quick synopsis for those who may have forgotten or not seen previous episodes. I recently discovered there's a comment section at weathernetwork.com.
I'm curious how you discovered this.
Because my
how did you come across this? I'm
Yeah.
very curious.
it's partly because my work and how busy it's going to be is very centric around how good or bad the weather is. So I kind of check the forecast.
So you check weathernetwork.com to get your weather?
Well, yeah,
We
whatever.
just check the little app thing.
What are you, a boomer?
Whatever.
Just
I'm
type
waking up in the
weather.
morning, eating my breakfast, just sifting through born in a. The
Are
other
you a
more
20-something
the
in
other-
1970?
the other close the much more real reason is that for a month long here we just had fucking smoke weather. Like that was our weather forecast. It was smoke from the fucking province burning down around
Weather
us.
today. Smoke.
So I'm curious, like, when the fuck is this gonna go away? But I always noticed there was a little stupid coffee break trivia question on the side, and it'd be something like, "Oh, what's the best way to get ice off your windshield?" Blah, you can vote on a multiple choice thing. I noticed there was a comment section there, and it was just immediately finding me, like, who's commenting at weathernetwork.com. Then I, of course, equated it to boomers because
It doesn't even seem weird to me anymore. I've seen so much of it that it's like, oh yeah, what's on weathernetwork.com?
Totally
I
boomer.
get the culture now too, this boomer culture.
My thoughts were that because I'm looking at the comment section, it's just all lame, like boomer humor, just like these fucking shirts that I'm always talking about.
Which are a perfect
This-
example of them.
This community is missing one thing. That's shit talking. I don't see anyone fighting each other or getting angry.
This is too nice of a
Um,
place.
And I thought, who do I look to for inspiration as the ultimate shit talker? And that, of course, is the Macho Man, Randy Savage.
Oh, yeah.
So I went on weathernetwork.com under the username, all capital letters, Macho Man, Randy Savage, avatar picture of him holding the champion belt, pointing at the camera.
Step into a Slim Jim.
That's
So let's just make this clear though, because we really need people to understand what's going on at weathernetwork.com. So they'll have a question like, what percentage of Sweden's garbage ends up in the landfill? And it's a trivia question. It's every one of these questions you could just Google and then it would just tell you, and then you could check it out. Clearly they don't, because they show you the results and it's like a pie chart that's even between all four options, because nobody seems to know. So a very, very boring trivia. Like this is
so boring.
Jeopardy level trivia, and then there's 400 comments below.
It's not Jeopardy trivia.
Yeah, Nancy comments. Be nice to see all countries in the 1%.
Shut your fucking mouth.
Oh, Nancy.
Here's another good one. I just want to. It's a top level comment here. I just want to apologize to one of our newest commenters, Eli Bennett. I was not talking nice to him yesterday because I was sure he was just trawling. Apparently, I was wrong, and he had just made a mistake. I'm sorry, Eli, and welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome
Clearly,
to
you read that.
weathernetwork.com.
You read that. It's like this community.
Do,
needs
do,
the
do,
shit
do,
talking.
do,
Welcome to the community.
It's the shit talking.
We're here to talk about the weather.
So
From the elevator.
That's the song they play when they say welcome to weathernetwork.com.
First question I saw on there, which was too perfect, was what's the best way to take an aspirin while having a heart attack? The answer,
Or anally.
Probably true.
the actual answer was to chew it because it gets an enlargement. Whatever. So I go on there
I always
and
take my name.
as Macho Man Randy Savage, I say, swallowing it whole means nothing. I'm talking all the way to the top. When I'm done with this aspirin, not only will I chew it up, but I'll spit it up, race to the top of the turnbuckle, and deliver a flying elbow drop to which the likes have never been seen. Remember, kids, don't end up like me and chew that aspirin whole.
Yeah.
Chew it whole. Just in the midst of all of these boomers
It's
saying,
so
welcome to weathernetwork.com, Eli.
Now, what
As
was
Macho Man chimes in with some.
Now, what makes that even funny, I didn't really even notice it while typing in, is that the Macho Man Randy Savage did indeed die of a heart attack.
Oh no!
But then
I love him.
some lady on there, undoubtedly a boomer, under the username Cat Smith, probably her real name.
I kept seeing her all around. She was
comments
Cat
a lot.
Smith.
She
There's
comments on a
She
whole
moves
lot.
around.
two cats with a K,
Yeah.
always commenting on weathernetwork.com. They're checking in all the time and interacting with their buddies.
Oh,
These are
yeah,
their
yeah,
buddies
yeah,
on
yeah.
weathernetwork.com.
I pretty much became her buddy. She didn't like me at first, I could tell, but she warmed up to me by the end of
Maybe
it.
she likes herself a Macho Man.
So she comments on that aspirin thing, and she says, "Are you Randy Savage, are you okay? I'm not quite understanding what I'm doing.
Are you okay, Macho Man Randy Savage?
That's a boomer sarcasm.
So
Are you okay?
I literally this was like the most fun little pastime for me because I would literally just go look up Macho Man Randy Savage like pre-fight interviews and just basically
I wondered how they were so real.
just basically quote for quote take them and put them in there, but just readjust it to align with what the hell I'm talking about. Eventually, I just got good at mimicking like that type of stuff.
Probably what he did too.
Yeah, probably. So yeah, she says, "Are you okay?" And this was like almost word for word taken from her. I was like,
I'm so ready.
"Oh yeah, let me tell you something, sister. Not only am I okay, I'm unjustifiably in a position I'd rather not be in. But the cream will always rise to the top. Oh yeah, because let me tell you something right now. I'm not just okay, sister. I'm the cream of the crop." So like, and then so after that, this was the funniest thing. So I posted this aspirin comment at like I was about to go to bed, and I posted this thinking whatever. Within like a minute, it had so many people commenting. So that's the other funny thing about this comment section at weathernetwork.com. There's so many comments. Like
They're like super active.
there's a super active community. Like there's like 300 comments on every
Well,
single.
imagine the people that are hanging out here. Like they're probably lonely at home people, right? Just like hanging out on the community of Weather Network.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because I mean, this used to be a thing in the '90s or like maybe early 2000s of like hanging out in different chat rooms, and that was like the place I hung out.
So
Now this is like the last remnant of a place to hang out on the internet.
yeah, so I very quickly got pretty good at it. Like this is within the same first post. Another lady named Kat, or at least her username named Kat West, commented. Spelled the same, K-A-T. Both of them were spelled K-A-T. And so this one I couldn't find anything because it's so specific, but I happened to notice there's two ladies named Kat.
Probably both named Katrina or something.
Or Catherine, probably, I'm guessing. So I noticed both of them named Kat. So I had the complete improv in there. I hate to be a boomer and pat myself on the back here, but I was really proud of this comment. I said, what do we have here? A bunch of little kitty cats think they can take on the macho madness. Well, when you come face to face with my flying elbow drop, oh yeah, we'll see then who needs the antipsychotics and who needs the aspirin.
It's so great.
So
I like how you're having so much fun threatening these elbow drops on the internet.
This was like the first 2 minutes of doing this.
Are you still doing it?
Well, no. I'm going to go through some of my comments, and I'll tell you the end.
yeah, I was
reading.
I was reading some of these out at Mullerfest this year, and I had my cousins shitting themselves from all of these Macho Man Randy Savage comments. Like they couldn't get enough of it. It's
like
the greatest. It's the greatest thing since Macho Man Randy Savage was on TV
Or alive.
or alive.
So another one. This question was: which raw fruit or vegetable has the highest water content? And the answer is not relevant. Doesn't matter. I said, let's get this straight. There isn't a raw fruit or vegetable known to man that can take down the macho madness. You think the water content of the cucumber is high? Just wait till you see how high my flying elbow drop when it rockets down toward you, lying on your back, destroying everything in its path.
It's Macho Man just feels so threatened all the time. He has to shit talk somebody.
Shit talking cucumbers.
Macho Man is on Weather Network, feeling threatened.
So
So the question is, has Macho Man Randy Savage fallen or risen to WeatherNetwork.com comments?
Third buckle.
So you had made a Macho Man Randy Savage reference about Slim Jim.
I did.
So
I used to do that voice.
it's like a pepperoni stick, basically.
Yeah.
They're very
And he
So
would,
he talks about
He
it.
had
he did the
endorsements.
commercials.
Oh,
He
okay.
did
He would go-
regular
He
commercials.
would go snap into a Slim Jim. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was his
And he was
exact
full
quote.
get up and
It
everything.
was snap into a Slim Jim.
Snap into a Slim Jim. That's
Like
the
this.
slogan.
You go like
So
that.
he'd snap it.
Yeah.
Does he do backbreakers on the wrestling? Like what? Where's
No,
the
he
snap?
didn't. It was just commercials. He didn't.
It's a wrestling.
What do you think would be a reference to him? You know,
I think it's just a violent
this
thing.
Slim
that
Jim will
snaps
break
up.
your back.
So one of the questions: what is considered Canada's national fruit?
Justin Trudeau.
Oh, low hanging.
I actually stole that
Low
from
hanging
Weather Network.
fruit. That's such a baby boomer. Yeah.
The real answer was blueberry. And I was like, whatever. So I go on as Macho Man Wayne. It's like, blueberry? Just what kind of national fruit is that? You know what the Macho Man Randy Savage national fruit is? Gotta have beef, gotta have spice, a little excitement. Snap into a Slim Jim. Ooh, yeah.
The way you type these out,
It's so good.
there'd be a bunch of like O's, and some of them would be
Yeah. I
capitalized.
tried to emphasize the
Ooh, yeah.
Also, yeah, it would be some.
Yeah, be some lowercase
Well, at
y's.
first, so when I made my first comment, it was all capital letters, like I was just shouting at people. That got auto banned, like
Mhm.
because I thought, oh my gosh, did someone moderate this already? But it
Yeah,
turns out
they
it gets
filter
auto
it.
modded. Yeah, it gets immediately filtered as soon as someone's message is all
I
caps.
think boomers would do that. I bet you sometimes they hit caps locks and
It's
leave
an
it on.
acceptable thing to do because it's harder to read when it's like just a big
I guess
blob
so.
of all capital
But it's
letters.
yelling on the internet.
So then it kind of forced me not to do that, but that actually worked because I really got heavy into pre-fight interviews with Macho Man Randy Savage, and he's not always just shouting. He does like this angry whisper where he's like about to explode. So,
I mean, you got lots more,
Walken.
don't you?
Christopher Walken
well,
has a thing.
I
like
only
that.
did this for a couple days before things went sour.
Christopher Walken has a similar thing where he'd be like, I'm gonna hurt you real bad. Yeah, but first I'm gonna let you feel it. That kind of thing.
That's like he needs to get on weathernetwork.com.
Wow.
So another one was what is a group of crows called? Whichever one.
Murderer.
It's a murder.
Murdiddly Erdler.
A murderer.
So I come up, which is just this is too easy. As much as I go on there, you'll know it's a murder anytime someone steps into the ring and comes face to face with the macho madness. Ooh, yeah, because I tell you, once they taste the flavor of my flying elbow drop, they'll be lucky to leave the ring in an ambulance and not a hearse.
I love these so much.
Dude, I was having a fucking blast
man.
every day. Like every day, this became my favorite social media platform.
I can imagine. It's so creative, but just hilarious. Such a hilarious troll. It's so funny.
So it came to a crashing halt when all my comments were just getting banned. And if
you could change your IP address.
yeah, I can. That's a lot.
yeah.
That's a lot of that.
No, it's pretty easy.
Get a VPN.
You just do it. Yeah,
But I mean, it is funny to me that like within easily 5 days, it's probably 3 or 4 days of doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them got auto-modded probably because some of the caps locks or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But then I noticed that they would be up for like an hour or two, and then they would get modded. They would get banned. So I basically,
we run a tight ship over here at weathernetwork.com.
Yeah.
We're not letting any trolls in here
You
to
know,
mess with our
No
people.
more trolleys.
most people my age, I'm just over 30. Most people my age are buying a home, getting married, starting a family, and I am getting banned from commenting on
You can't handle weathernetwork.com
Yeah.
privileges.
Well, the other funny thing to note was that it's just like Reddit or any comment section that has an upvote and a downvote thing. My comments got downvoted to hell.
Did you? Let me ask you. Did you screenshot any of it?
Yeah, that's where I'm reading this from.
You should.
Screenshot.
Yeah, I want you to post it on Reddit and see what happens.
Yeah, I should do that.
That'd be great.
That's pretty good. Give it to me. I'll get all the karma.
Yeah.
But it was great because I became the heel of wrestling at weathernetwork.com.
In 5 days.
I wonder how many recognized it and love wrestling. We're like, go on,
There
go
was
on,
a-
Macho
Yeah.
Man.
They're all baby
There was
boomers.
like 1 or 2 comments where someone like, "You're washed up, Macho Man," and people got into it.
That's
It was a
hilarious.
lot. Like I said, I got downvoted hard. I would always like. It might not sound like a lot, but I would always have like 10 downvotes. When you look at any other comments, it's always like 0 downvotes, 1 upvote. Like every comment, like nobody got
Yeah.
downvotes like I.
And that's our second Baby Boomers Are Shit of the week. The topic is Baby Boomers ban anything that's fun and good.
Unless it sounds
Well,
like
it's I was
unless it
doing
sounds like Brenda from accounting.
Hey, we got this new video game. It's called Doom. Well, we better ban it because it sounds too fun.
Like,
No fun.
it's clearly a
Fun's
joke.
off the
And it
table.
clearly wasn't actually threatening anyone. This was literally just, you have a fun little community here, and I want to be just known as this character that comes on.
Yeah, they
It's
should
so
be-
good, man.
they
I
should
love
be
it so much.
They should be so grateful.
Yeah.
Like if Macho Man Randy Savage showed up on our Facebook wall, I would be pursuing that however I can.
Can you imagine on these posts if Macho Man started showing up and started commenting on movies? That would be so wonderful.
Maybe we'll be able to dig him up from the grave and get him in for a segment.
I'm like movies.
Yeah, it was the most fun I've had on the internet for a very, very long time.
This is brilliant.
So you guys got any other happy thoughts?
I mean, I've covered everything every thought I would ever want to have on this movie. The only thing is, it's just like we've said the whole thing. It pales in comparison to Meet the Feels. It doesn't understand how to make an R-rated Muppet movie fun. Like, just more jerk off improv.
Yeah, I would say my final review and comments on the movie is that
Great.
the whole thing was cringy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really get
and
any.
I didn't like it, and it was very hard to watch.
I don't need a summary from either of you. I just want to know if we didn't miss any points or whatever.
No.
Summaries are boring.
Just closing it off, Molly.
Just capping it up. But
Do you guys want to do some dating advice, or or you want to hold it till next time?
I think we got enough here. So
Yeah,
just at
that's
the
what I was
2 hour
thinking.
mark.
Get ready.
I don't want to go for another half hour.
Angela will answer your urgent dating problem in 2 weeks,
Yeah, maybe possibly as Macho Man Randy Savage.
possibly. All right. Thanks for being on, Dave.
Yeah,
You're the
thanks for
nicest
having me.
guy we know.
So long, losers.
Well, how was that highlighted?
You're doing great, Jake.
Good. That felt better this time. I was saying no.
I thought it was fine the other time too. Honestly,
Yeah,
Really?
that's
I
fine,
felt
yeah.
I felt so awkward the other time.
That's fine.
I couldn't even listen to it.
I could tell you rushed through your ad because you were like looking at it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you were trying to get through each
The
point.
thing I didn't clear with you guys is how long I should take.
They can be as long
As
as
long or as short as it needs to be.
Because I think
The worst thing it can do is go for too long.
well, yeah. So that's probably why I did it. I feel like I hit a lot of funny points, and you guys were laughing, and then it was like leave on a high note.
I could just tell that from your usual like form
When
of
I do
doing
it.
that you were crunching them together more than you.
You're probably right. I think I do
It's
take
fine.
a little bit more time with the awkwardness of it.
Yeah, totally.
For me, at least, the
It was
worst thing, or one of the worst things a joke can do is go on for too long. It's where I start to see the seams of the joke.
Yeah.
That's no good.
So
Me, I would like my personal take on humor is like this more. You'll see this more than if you read the episode post or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
I want to walk right up to the point where the joke is not explained enough. Like just walk right up to the point where I've just barely explained it and then back up. Because whether someone finds something funny or not, it's a crapshoot. We all have different senses of humor.
Yeah.
It's like and when the joke runs on too long, it's like trying to talk someone into it. This is funny, and
It's
if
like
I just
being,
keep going,
Yeah.
you'll see how funny.
let me just explain why it's
It's like
funny.
making
And then
a
it's-
Melissa McCarthy movie.
There's nothing
So-
that makes something less funny than explaining.
So Andrew's heard me do that bit before.
That's a pretty funny bit. Like,
But you not having heard it, did it sound great? It sounds fine.
I thought it was funny. It's a funny idea too. Delivery's fun.
Yeah, I forget we came up with it the other day. It kind of hit me. I have another one like that called like wheat chunks.
Yeah, we were talking about it.
They're like big chunks of wheat, this big.
It's like
And I got like a measurements that are fucked up.
It's
I
like-
would have liked to have gotten into it. I'll tell you the
Yeah,
measurements.
you should know, I mean, you should know it again. It's
It's 3 wide by 5 long and 3 deep.
well, it's basically just like like mini wheats, but the bigger ones.
Yeah.
Like that's a thing, right? And me and Dave were joking the other day that it's like you don't even put it in a bowl and you just carry it and pour some milk on it, and it just kind of gets soggy, and it's just this big
I'll be
bar.
Milk soaks in. Bowls are a thing of the past. It holds the milk right in it. Just suck the milk out if you want to.
Yeah, so you got to stop reading off
Yeah,
of it. Though. You got to just remember the bowl thing, and then go off the script and kind of get lost for a while, and then just take a
come
peek.
back.
Yeah, like maybe I actually think you need to write it down in your book, and I think you need to get each thing down to like one word: bowls, and
Right.
like
No,
ants.
like no bowls.
Yeah, no bowls, like just
Okay.
because then like
I definitely wasn't reading like a script, but yeah, I had.
I was looking at your eyes though, and you were mostly like looking at your.
So I was trying to get ahead of myself. Yeah, because I got like new color, new smell.
But part of what makes
Buy
it
from
funny is,
local paint shop.
part of what makes that funny is you getting lost. And
That's
like,
true.
So you don't actually want it to be.
Well, and that is very improv, that whole style.
yeah.
Because
So
it's the Rick and Morty style.
I say
It's
make
just
it
make
more-
shit up on the spot.
like my story in the beginning, I I had a bunch of notes written down, and I was like, oh crap, I'm reading these as if I'm gonna read it off of my page, which is really bad. So that's when you saw me close my computer a little bit, because I was like, I didn't want to look at them. And I came up with a bunch of more funny ways to explain it that I hadn't written down, and I would have missed them if I was like looking at
Right.
what I
It
was
didn't.
saying.
It didn't sound horrible. Right? I think it felt right. It just was like rushed.
Yeah, my notes.
Yeah, it was still great.
All my notes was like either that news article that I typed up just a bunch of stuff. Just to remind
That's
you.
enough
Yeah.
juicy
Okay.
stuff for you guys.
Bye, guys.